carries.
Yes! Woo!
Yes, you can.
Yes! Yes!
Not only is she back on tour, she's a champion again. Yeah! The legend. Here's Shannon O'Keefe. Incredible. What a moment for Shannon O'Keefe.
Please let your friends and family know where they can watch the best women bowlers in the world. All right, athletes, your arrows are coming up. You'll have a full set of pins. Bowling fans, how about a great send-off for round 2 of the Nationwide PWBA Columbus Open. Good luck, ladies.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 5:01 Eastern Time. I think the first ball may have been thrown at 5 o'clock even. I'm not sure. So if this was like baseball where we'd have to designate, and by the way, that is designated. I can ask our Director of Operations, Sydney Milligan, exactly what time the first ball was thrown. But we are underway, round 2. The Nationwide PWBA Columbus Open. Bill Williams Jr. here with you. And our same featured pairs, 23-24, 25-26, 27, and 28. Hello, everyone who has tuned in. I know 5 o'clock is that get off of work time, so especially on a Friday. I'm not trying to stay in the office, past 5 o'clock. I feel you. I know it's 5 obviously Eastern. Those in the Central Time Zone might have another hour to go. If you're on the West Coast, you may have several, and then wherever you may be elsewhere, it could be the start of your day. Whatever it is, we appreciate you tuning in. I'll be here with you throughout the night. Brandon, you are, I did tell her that, by the way, Brandon. I talked to her, or I mentioned that yesterday. And you are also correct. Putting in a full day's work, but that's what we do. It's, that's just what we do. I don't know anything different. We're in it for the long haul. But it's all worth it once the TV show airs, essentially, and we have a good show, because that's what we're aiming towards, and that's what the players are working towards. And for 12 of those players, their dream will continue until tomorrow. For 13 through 32 today, their dreams of winning this title this week will have to wait another week at least. Russell says it's 10 p.m. in the UK, so Russell may get a few games in, maybe call it an evening. Wow. Already some troubled hits. Nearly a 9-pin that gets taken down. We'll check in on Erin McCarthy. I watched the last few shots of her warming up, and she looked pretty good. She started with the front three. Of course, that is not an indication of what could happen, but I'm just saying that from my vantage point, she looked pretty lined up. As we watch Jen Higgins from nearby Westerville, Ohio. My man Russell. How about that? That's a good idea, Shell. Shout out to the tax-free week in Maryland. That's an extra outfit or two right there with no taxes. Here's Chelsea Stevens. The story of the day, folks, at the moment right now, is Shannon Pluhowski. As Plu started and ended first day, or I should say the first round, at plus 308. Listen to Shannon's games here. Not a game under 200 for the Southpaw. 259, 202, 215, 231, 264, 269, 237, 231. That was the 8-game block for Shannon Pluhowski this morning. But Rocio Restrepo was right there, second at plus 290. So Ro able to find some success. Clara Guerrero flirted with 300 today. She ended up shooting 289. She is third as we enter round number 2 at plus 205. Kelly Kulik fourth at plus 201. Diana Zavyalova is fifth at plus 190. Giselle Poss is sixth at plus 182. Liz Johnson is seventh at plus 146. Verity Crawley is eighth at plus 118. Jordan Richard is ninth at plus 112. Daria Payok is 10th at plus 109. Jen Higgins is 11th at plus 108. And Maria Jose Rodriguez is 12th at plus 104. 30 pins right now, the difference in getting to the top 12. Liz Colkin is 13th. Sandra Gungor is 14th. Liz at plus 74. Sandy at plus 70, plus 70. Jody Wessner 15th at plus 67. Missy Parkin is 16th at plus 50. Continuing on, Sydney Brummett is 17th at plus 38. Shannon O'Keefe 18th at plus 32. Haley Richard is 19th at plus 17. And Danielle McEwen is 20th at plus 12. There are 20 players on the other side of plus. Erin McCarthy minus 13 and is out to change that immediately. She's got the front five here on Bowl TV. As you enter, go ahead and hit that thumbs up to because I know that you like watching the PWBA and you like watching bowling and you like strikes like that. If you're to get Poplar, top 5. How about that? Front 5 there for you to get one that gets away from Jordan. And Jordan's got some multi-pin spares here. Some opens in the first couple of frames. Let's take you back to 23 and 24. Maria Jose Rodriguez, Chelsea Stevens, and Jen Higgins. McCarthy looking for 6 in a row. Bang. Yeah, plus 104 for the cut right now. That's a pretty sizable number, but you know, in an interesting way, it was weird because earlier today, game 1 produced some high scores, and you thought that the pace would be perhaps on the higher scoring side. And then, and I had Danielle Vandermeer in with me, and she talked about some of the differences in regards to, you know, where we are this side of the house, and then you kind of make the move to the higher end, and there were some differences. So started to see some lower scores on this side, and then it kind of began to even out. And no, wow. We don't see that very often. Usually in that situation, the 10 pin gets taken out. This shot there from Chelsea Stevens claimed the final spot in yesterday's PTQ. Here is Stephanie Johnson, who has been working extremely hard today to you know, find something consistent. Rodriguez open frame, that serve bowling ball going down the lane. Back on it. In the 6th frame. 10 pin, 7 pin, 10 pin. Stephanie Johnson takes care of hers. Zavyalova. Make it 2 for 2 on single pins of this trio who has left them. Jen Higgins on the left side gets the 7 out. And 3 for 3. Single pin spares, folks. Those are musts if you are to be successful. Chelsea Stevens, nice shot. So Erin McCarthy will be stepping up momentarily, looking for the front 7. Here is Birgit Poplar. She is looking for 6 in a row. Birgit representing Germany. Already a PWBA titleist, not this season. She won last year's PWBA striking against breast cancer mixed doubles event. Erin got on the title train this year, and she is on 7 in a row. And I told you, she looked pretty solid in practice. Poplar, oh no, on the 10 pin. So her ring, or excuse me, her string stops at 6 in a row. back to McCarthy. Wow, that one read pretty early. I'm not sure she was expecting that either. All right, so in our area, looks like no runs at 300. But you can see already the lanes starting to produce some high scores, very similar to what we saw in the opening game this morning. Steph J. Tricia, that's a good question. It really depends on the event. Normally, the answer would be no. Essentially, bowling in the center, in between. But if there are pairs not in use, for example, the best indication, not indication, but example would be kind of the U.S. Women's Open, where there are warm-up pairs that are set aside, essentially, that can be practiced on almost at any point. There is a time to where you have to be off the lanes, essentially to allow the next squad who is, going to actually be competing to get their warm-up time in. But you could theoretically be there for, an hour or so. And Shannon O'Keefe referenced that a little bit at the U.S. Women's, or talking about the U.S. Women's Open, kind of was a kink to work out, and she was able to do it then. So it's typically not, but depending on the event, there may be that opportunity built into the event itself. Now, if you went somewhere else and, outside of the building, for example, and wanted to go practice, you could. Again, but all depends on the event. Huge shot there for Jay Rich. Dennis, this is essentially it is round 2, but it's round 2 of the elite qualifying. But there are 32 players, and so in a standard event, there would be a round of 32. Except for the only difference would be that the qualifying would take place on Friday, and then we'd narrow it down to 32 players for Friday morning or Saturday morning. The Elite Tour, it's a little reversed. So, the PTQ is on Thursday, and then that adds to the 32-player field, which is, of course, the total. And then in that regard, this is the round of 32. Essentially, it's just round 1 was the first block, round 2 is the second block. Tomorrow will be the round of 12. There's only 6 games. Sometimes having the right bowling ball can just make the world of difference, from how you look, confidence level, roll it, roll it, roll it. Yes. Back to Zavyalova. Yeah, but the bowling ball can be all the difference in the world sometimes. Sometimes, obviously, it's user error, of course, but when you find the right combination, you hear the term players often use matchup. They get matched up with, physical game, but mainly bowling ball to what the lane condition is presenting. Oh, it's all good, Dennis. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for all you do for the sport. All right, nice opening game for Aaron McCarthy, 267. Nice shot for Diana, and along that lines, the quiet 259 for DZ. So she comes out the gates already in good position entering. As well, see if we can get a nice spare conversion here from Steph J. Another clutch shot for Jordan Richard. A few 8-1s, but has found some consistency here. We'll watch Birgit Poplar in just a second. Started with the front six. Josie Barnes just to her right. And Josie struggled a little bit earlier today. Went minus 43. Did Josie? Here is Birgit. Birgit we had a nice combo last week. 92 KQRS came through in the Twin Cities. Stopped by Cedarville Lanes in Eagan, Minnesota. And I'll finish that story in 1 second. Here's Higgins on a three-bagger. It looks left. And through the nose, she leaves at 310. So during that conversation with the radio station, we talked about my hometown, Chicago. And someone mentioned that they hadn't had a chance to go up to the Willis Tower. And if you're familiar with the Willis Tower, you say, oh, what is that? Well, it used to be called the Sears Tower, but of course, real Chicagoans will always refer to it as the Sears Tower. Nice finish there for Jordan Richard. 310 attempt. And an open frame for Jen Higgins. Stops some momentum there. 205. And now on to Poplar for the final shots here of game number 1. So far, didn't see what Steph shot, but not too many low games here on our featured pairs, nonetheless. And so, of course, on the Sears Tower, you know, there's this new platform. It's not new anymore, but it's still relatively new. You kind of step outside of the building, if you will, and you know you can see through, and it's clear. And you know, if you're scared of heights, and so you get to mention that the one employee from the radio station mentioned that they hadn't had a chance to do it, and talked about the height, you know, scared of heights and that kind of thing. And I said I hadn't done it either, actually. It's been a while since I've even been in the building. Birgit went to Chicago this week, and she had let me know that she went ahead, did the thing, man, wasn't even worried about no heights, none of that. She went out there, and all was well. So now I'm going to have to go out and make sure I too step out on the old flight deck and the sky deck of the Sears Tower and check that out also. And if you haven't, I would encourage you to check it out as well. Yeah, you're right, Cordell. See what I'm saying? I haven't been to John Hancock building in a while either. Game one, boy, went kind of quick, didn't it? A lot of strikes over here. Maybe that will bode well for everyone else as they make their moves down on the low end of the building. And here come the players. So while I'll have a quick moment, take a little break, come back. Game two is coming up next here on Bowl TV. And of course, in the bottom left hand of your screen, although when it pops in there, you'll see it is game 10 overall, which means obviously this is game 2 of this round. We had 8 this morning, so we're going to continue to count them down, if you will, so you'll know exactly when we get to 16. Back in a moment here on Bowl TV. All right, we're underway in game 10. A few frames in here on 27 and 28. Verity Crawley, Shelby New, and Sandra Gongora. No pun intended. Shelby New is new to essentially the PWBA Tour. Bowled the PTQ yesterday and made her way into the elite field today. So it'll be a nice prize check no matter what for Shelby, and a great experience. Come out and learning just what it takes to be a PWBA Tour player. Got a 9-game update, and Shannon Pulhowski still your leader at plus 326. Rocio Restrepo second at plus 295. Diana Zavyalova third at plus 249. Kelly Kulik is fourth at plus 236, along with Clara Guerrero. Giselle Poss is sixth at plus 205. Liz Johnson is seventh at plus 193. Verity Crawley eighth at plus 164. Daria Payok ninth at plus 126. Sandra Gongora is 10th at plus 116. Jen Higgins and Jordan Richard are tied for the final spot at plus 113. All of your links you need, results for qualifying round number 2, this morning's round, and the roster along with the pairing sheet available in the event description. All right, we'll take a look at Crawley, and then we'll mosey on down to 25 and 26. All right, nice shot there. Here is Haley Richard. Nice shot there for Haley. Very close family are the Richards. Haley and Jordan, sisters, twin sisters. And I believe they have a couple of other siblings, if I'm not mistaken. But I know family very important to them. Good shot there from Boomershine. We'll take a look at Shannon O'Keefe momentarily over on 23 and 24. She's on the pair with Missy Parkin and Erin Zaprinsky. Erin doing work yesterday in the PTQ as well. Advancing with Osio. Yikes. All right, there's a break for Rowe. Rocio right now against second. There's Zaprinsky to your left. And has thrown 2 quality shots back to back. Ooh, folks, I had to go to the tee a little early today. Solid bag of Lipton, thanks to the staff here at Columbus Bowl. All right, just confirmed a guest for game 4. Wow. That might be one of the best chat comments I've ever read. I don't know how I feel about that, Steve. There you go. Oh, that's fantastic. But on that front, actually, Summer Jasmine will join us in Game 4. So if you've heard Summer before, you can look forward to her. If you have not heard Summer, then she also brings some great insight. She has bowled every event, if I'm not mistaken, this season, including the elite events, and has made 2 of the 3. She missed advancing this week. So we'll be able to chat with Summer a little bit. Earlier we talked to Danielle Vandermeer for the first time on Bowl TV on PWBA competition, and very enlightening conversation with Danielle Vandermeer. Encourage you to check that out. If you want to watch round 1, you can. It's available in the archives. Danielle joined us, or Danny, as we like to say, joined us in Game 5, and she hung out for the rest of the round. Nationwide's Travis Goodwin also joined us on Bowl TV in Game 3 of that round. Here is Zuprinsky, or maybe not. That's actually Verity Crawley. Obviously, of course, meaning the wrong pair. Now let's check out 23 and 24, but first it'll be Missy Parkin. I am just an individual who enjoys what he does. That's all I am, and that's all I'm definitely okay with. Boomer Shine off to the right. See, there's a few strikes here in the area, but you know, Game 2 starting to looks like it's presenting that challenge of continuing to have success as the players migrate. If you want to know who will come out to who will be on the featured pairs each game here in round 2, again, that link is available. I can tell you we will see Aaron Zuprinsky, Missy Parkin, and Shannon O'Keefe here back to back. They're going to move over to 25 and 26 after this game. Liz Johnson, Jessica Malott, and the tournament leader Shannon Pluhowski. They'll join us in Game 3 on 23 and 24. And then Boomershine, Richard, and Restrepo, we'll see them one more time on 27 and 28, and then we won't see them again for the rest of the day. All right, Parkin, and then we'll back to Shelby News. Someone mentioned Shelby throws it really well. Really like her game. In regards to the standings, she is in 30th at -110. But I would say not bowling too bad. I didn't watch her bowl, of course, the entire day, but a few 2-0s. A couple 170 games, 150, a 190 game in there as well. So, you know, the 2-0s, you know, either couldn't get anything to go, just like what Shannon O'Keefe just did. Couldn't get a string to go. We watched, I forgot who it was, but someone had a 190 game earlier with 3 opens. And sometimes those are the kind of games that you have, but you know, I admire the players that have come out and really performed well in the PTQ to get to this point. It's not an easy thing to do. think about what Shelby and Aaron Zaprinsky have done this week, and players like Chelsea Stevens, although Aaron is a member, but you know, some of the non-members came out, and there were plenty of members in this week's PTQ as well. So it's, you know, they beat some really good competition. We'll keep trying to take care of business. She does on the single pinch spare. I think Verity just made the 1, 2, 6, 8, 10. Let's take a look at Haley. Someone referenced the differences in regards to the games of Haley and Jordan. They certainly do throw it differently, but their quality overall as bowlers, pretty even. And that's the thing about this game. It really doesn't matter how you get there. It's about how consistent are you at repeating. Can you repeat what you're doing? I'd take either of those games, Haley or Jordan, and I'd be okay with that. I'd take this game too. Here's Restrepo. Fortunately, some trouble here for Shelby, but trying to make some moves on the end. 185 for Shelby, and again, not a bad game, just unable to find the right way to knock them all down. And I know that is certainly harder than what it seems and looks in many cases. This week's field, from an international perspective, a theme in the chat, and hopefully we've taken care of those with mean comments. And if you see those, by the way, from my understanding, users can also block other users, or at least do some reporting. But I'm going to take a look at that. All right, here's Gongora. Speaking of countries represented, Mexico. 2-4-8-10 for SG on a 5-bagger. This week we've got, let's see, Mexico, of course, Verity from England. although not in the 32-player field, but Danielle Vandermeer is from the Netherlands originally. Dasha Kovalova in the field from the Ukraine. Diana Z. Zavyalova from Latvia. Here is O'Keefe. Entered this round at plus 52, I think. Plus 32, excuse me, for Shannon. So for O'Keefe, it's got to have a big Friday night here. But she's already made up some ground. It's at plus 52 still. Some pins to make up to get to the number. Gongora finished with 221, by the way. Sandra was 10th. She's going to add some pins, but missed opportunity, of course, to add 30 additional to that score. Here is Zuprinsky from Tinley Park, Illinois. That looks online. Able to break down a split, maybe a touch slow. Aaron with a jersey that looks like the Vegas skyline. On the horizon, got it's a very Las Vegas type thing. That would be, and I very well could be wrong. I don't think so. I feel like I should know as much time as we spend in Las Vegas in the bowling industry. So many events that are hosted there. Nice game from Haley Richard, 222. And that's just a terrible break there. Chops the 4 off the 7, and Zuprinsky is left there with 173. Missy Parkin, I would say, along with Kelly Kulik, Liz Johnson, really did a lot for women's bowling. Very prominent during the time of course, no PWBA tour. Missy, like many others, missing that chance to go straight from college to the professional level. But shot there from Restrepo. Shot for O'Keefe. Really, the only thing left for Missy, I would say, and she probably would agree, would be to just have, obviously, have that official PWBA title on the resume. She is a major champion, has won the Queens. If you recall, when there was no tour, there were players you saw often, and Missy Parkin was always on a telecast, whether it was the Queens or U.S. Women's Open, for example. Kelly Kulik, Liz Johnson, even Shannon O'Keefe. I think people forget how many Shannon O'Keefe, or how many shows, U.S. Women's Open shows in particular, that Shannon O'Keefe has been a part of. One more for Rowe. Her husband Joe in the background. And here is Shannon O. We don't use the term Shanomac a lot, but maybe we should. She said that was a nickname that many have given her. Shannon has made so many shows on major events, and which, of course, even more emotional when she was finally able to win her first major title, which happened last year at the Tour Championship. All right, good place for that on the fill. O'Keefe going to throw a different ball, get some information. It's colorful. All right, 235. So O'Keefe is going plus 55 in the first 2 games. Yes, she is. I saw Kim chatting earlier. The real Kim in the chat room. And just like that. Yeah, absolutely, Shep Ramsey. No question about it. That is where whoever came up with that for Shannon is where they got that from, she said. And kudos to those individuals. Because that's a good nickname, but here's some clapping going on. There'll be good things are happening down on the high end. Game 11 is on the way. Mentioned 2 of our pairs are just going to move one right in this round of competition and this particular crossing schedule. And now we will have Shannon O'Keefe, Aaron Zuprinsky, and Missy Parkin over on 25 and 26. Then Haley Richard, Lindsay Boomershine, and Rocio Restrepo. And then we'll have Jessica Malott, Shannon Pluhowski, and Liz Johnson. Haley is already off and running with the 10-pin here. Lindsay Boomershine with 5-3 and Restrepo now set to take the lanes. We'll get ready to check out the leader of the tournament. Before that, here is Aaron Zuprinsky. Nice opening shot off camera for Jessica Malott, the young rookie. In a first round of 32, first cut as a professional this week. Uh-oh. Let's see if Aaron makes that. And she did. Almost robbed Aaron of that opportunity. My bad, Aaron. All right, here's the Hall of Famer. Liz Johnson with a 9-pin. Kasha is in the building. Liz's better half, of course. Known Kasha for some years from our Chicagoland area days. Bowling some youth events. real errant shot there for Puhalski this game. So often she is, as we've mentioned before, the only left-hander. Manages not only to make do, but put herself in contention. She was able to get out of the gates early this morning. I think that's always a good sign, and it helps with the swing, right? It keeps you loose. You have an opportunity to get off to a very good start, and that was the case this morning for Shannon. Speaking of Shannon Puhalski, new story up on PWBA.com just about the early round leader. Terry Bigham in the house this week and checking some things out and handling some business for us, so you can check that again. If you haven't already, check out what Shannon mentioned, what she talked about today also about round number 1. While you're there on our social media, specifically right now, PWBA Facebook, talked about the Central Ohio area has deemed it Central Ohio Bowling Week. And specifically, the city of Columbus proclaimed that. And part of the festivities this week included bowling day at the park at the Columbus Clippers game on Wednesday. Shannon Puhalski, maybe that was an omen. She threw out the first pitch this week. And now is your tournament leader. But some great pics and some video of that, along with an appearance from by Rocio Restrepo, Maria Jose Rodriguez, and Shannon O'Keefe at Nationwide, the headquarters here in Columbus. Also, we got some good photos of that. Be sure to check those out at both from Shannon Puhalski and Shannon O'Keefe, Maria, again, Rocio, the Nationwide event. So, should have checked that out on social media. Big thanks to USBC board member Joe Diamond. A lot of great stuff going on, and Joe was right in the center of it. She's been here last few days, of course, and will be here. Appreciate all of her help and what she did, and everyone obviously at Nationwide. Also, of course, Nationwide, the presenting sponsor of this event. Nationwide is on your side. So is Liz Johnson. Good shot there for the Hall of Famer. Let's check in over on 27 and 28. 2-4-10 for Boomershine. Now back to Puhalski. Shannon making about the hour drive to and from her home. She lives in Dayton. And manages Capri Lanes. I told her earlier, I've never seen her in the administrative type mode. I've only seen her in bowling mode. So I'm very curious and anxious to see the other side of Shannon Pluhowski. Meanwhile, Jessica Malott coming out firing here. She's got the front five on 23 and 24. I want to thank Blair Blumenscheid also. Part of the Central Ohio USBC, the local board of directors. Blair, very familiar with her more than likely. She handles social media for Storm. But Blair very active in this area. She is from Columbus, went to the Ohio State University. And when she can, does bowl PWBA events as well. But Blair's here this week, not competing, but representing, of course, her city, and represented it very well. Good break there for Pluhowski. Able to corral a double. Let's take a look at the leaderboard after 10 games. Now Shannon, after a 256 effort, 82 pins in front of Rocio Restrepo, who is second at plus 300. Third is Clara Guerrero at plus 277. Kelly Kulik fourth at plus 213. And fifth, Giselle Poss at plus 212. Diana Zavyalova is sixth at plus 209. Liz Johnson is seventh at plus 201. Verity Crawley is eighth at plus 187. Jordan Richard is ninth at plus 171. Daria Payok is 10th at plus 149. Jen Higgins is 11th at plus 140. And Sandra Gongora is 12th at plus 137. Malott for 6 in a row. Bang! That was a flat-out no-doubter. And Jessica Malott is bringing the pain here on 23 and 24. Here's Zuprinsky from Tinley Park, Illinois, able to get the 7 out, and Aaron, her second strike this game, back to the Hall of Famer. And Liz Johnson, that is left. Can she get a break? 4-7, or excuse me, 6-10. Shannon can mix them up with the best of them. She can also throw 10 back. Her carry's rolling well. She's tough to beat, and right now she is, trying to put some distance. Not only when you take a look at, first to fifth and first to 12th, it's looking pretty good for her in that regard. Again, live television this week, folks. Tomorrow, Malott. Got that one just a touch left, I think. And she leaves at 3-6-10. Now back to Parkin. I want to thank Wayne and Elaine Webb. Gracious hosts this week. Women's bowling hadn't really been back here since 2013, the U.S. Women's Open. Prior to that, you'd have to go back to 2001. Just in the state of Ohio. I don't know if it's Lancaster or Lancaster. It depends on where you are. I know in certain cities, cities can be pronounced differently. But Wendy McPherson earned that title, the Columbia 300 Open. That was in 2001. That was the last official PWBA event. Best shot of this game, for Pluhowski. And now Shannon is on 4 in a row. Richard down on 28. The old leg kick out, and that got the job done. O'Keefe. She gave it the old hip movement. That too got it done as well. Malott, does she have anything to say about that? Well, Jess has gone back-to-back now 3-6-10 and then 3-6-9-10. And so certainly well could be a situation where she's been left of target, or perhaps there is something going on. There is some lane change. There is some transition to where she is. Well, Lizzie J had to get down a little bit to make sure all 10 went down there. My, oh my. It's getting serious. Good shot from Restrepo. There's Parkin. Open frame for Malott. Kyle, that's Kyle, man, that, you know what that is? That is just that's just learning from experience right there. I know Lancaster and Lancaster can be two different things. It really just depends on where you are, and it seems to be in the northeast region. It tends to be Lancaster. That is my favorite Shannon Pluhowski right there. Wasn't sure about it. Didn't like it immediately, but somehow it strikes. Every single time. I don't even like it when she throws it good. I like to see her just throw it like that, because for me, that would have been like 6, maybe 5 for Shannon. That's 10 back all day. Oh, mercy. That's you guys know how I feel about it. Right now I've got a board op. You guys are familiar with board ops, or someone who would serve as your producer. Brenna Mason is keeping me honest, making sure the levels sound good. She's got the headset on. Brenna will might appear on television tomorrow. She takes care of the in-house music during the TV show, along with tons of other things marketing related. She might even dive into some seating arrangements and tomorrow as well. Big thanks to all of our staff who was on site this week. Of course, to Neil Milligan, our Director of Operations. Jason Thomas is here, handles a lot of our TV elements. Brand manager Jason McEwen, great video producer. Terry Bigham, our Director of Communications, is here this week as well. I feel I'm forgetting some people. Nicole Osborne was here, and she is off to Wyoming for a wedding. Not her wedding, I understand. But she's been in like 5 weddings, I think, this year. And Brand Hout is also here this week. I still feel, Kathy, the Kathys, by the way. Can't forget them, they're regulars. Kathy Wadka and Kathy Kavicki. That is the crew this week. And of course, last but not least, shout out to Greg Moore. Because without him, it's very possible that what we do from a TV perspective may not get done, at least not in time. Because he's really good at what he does. 10 pin there for Rowe. Getting down to the 10th frame there. Here is Zaprinsky. Good shot there for Aaron. And Aaron's got a 3-bagger. And she is developing quickly here some momentum. 2-4-5 for Jessica Malott. Again, if you're just joining us, this is game 11 of 16, but game 3 of this round. Emil Williams Jr., Summer Jasmine will join us in game 4. Missy Parkin can get to 223. Looking for a double. Wow, Greek Church. I would say some transition is certainly starting to take place. It's already taking place and theoretically always is, but something that you can significantly see, I think, is happening at the moment as well. O'Keefe clean through 8. Able to break down trouble as she leaves a 3-pin. Liz Johnson takes care of her 3-pin as well. And let's take a gander in the 10th frame here. Lindsay Boomershine. 2-4-8 for Lindsay. And for Boomershine, trying to figure out the combination. We've seen a lot of players experience games like what Lindsay has. There's been some high scores, but there's also been that random game or two where strikes are hard to come by and everything you try results in some type of 6, 7, or 8 count. Danielle Vandermeer talked about that earlier today. .225 for Liz Johnson. .211 for Haley Richard on 27 and 28. Pluhowski, 10th frame. And that one was left. Understandably so on that. A little frustration there for Shannon. 3-9 attempt. Spare strike would give her 208. Missy can get to 187. And that one just hooked out of the building. And that's kind of what you run into sometimes, trying to figure things out. It's Greek Church, maybe you switch balls, maybe make a move. You experience kind of the same thing. Rocio can get to 222. Pluhowski first. She gives the urethane a try. Good shot. Judy, Liz is repping, she's got the coffee and donuts on her jersey. One of the better ones out here on the PWBA Tour. And the ladies do bring it in the fashion perspective. They don't mess around. .228 for Malott, 207 for Pluhowski, 225 for Liz Johnson. On 66 for Zuprinsky here on 25 and 26. Parkin. Good shot. Found the right angle with that particular piece of equipment. Now O'Keefe with trouble. Gave it a run, open frame in the 10th, 201. For O'Keefe. And now it is Restrepo who will have the final shot of game 11. 2:22. All right, folks, we'll take a momentary break. When we come back, I will be joined by Summer Jasmine, who, let's see, we'll talk to Summer about what her latest driving adventure may have brought her this week. So we'll find that out next here on Bowl TV. Game 12 is underway, which is game 4 of round number 2. And as promised, Summer Jasmine has joined us in the booth. Summer, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I've got had to get a little tea. Make sure I'm good to go for the remainder of this block. It's also a little chilly where I'm stationed at, so
it is.
Warming up was also a very major key as well. But good to have you aboard. And so, how long have you been here today?
I actually got here, I think, right when they started
Okay.
The first round for sure.
This morning or this afternoon?
Yeah, this morning,
Okay.
and then went out to lunch and came back for, in time for practice and everything.
All right, so you've seen it all then.
I
Just
have.
about.
I've actually watched Missy today.
Okay.
I've had the pleasure of crossing with her the last couple weeks, and so I actually met up with her in-laws, and they were sitting. I watched Maria the first game, and then I watched somebody else, and then Missy moved to that pair, and then I was like, oh, you can have my seat, and then Missy bowled good, and so her mother-in-law was like, you're coming with me the rest of the day. And then she started struggling a little bit, so I said we had to change the mojo a little bit, so I said I'd hop in the booth with a meal.
How about that? All right. Well, give me your thoughts then. That's my first question nonetheless,
Yes.
but I wanted to make sure that you hadn't seen enough, and clearly you've seen plenty.
I have.
So what's happening out there, and then yeah, maybe we can compare it to what you saw in round 1 this morning.
Well, I think the ones that are bowling well, per se, are the ones that, like, it's like a variety up there, like in the top 5, just from, just the names I see. It's like the ones who can play in, and then they can kind of slow hook it. And of course, you got Liz, who can play to the right, play a little straighter and direct, and just have that ball speed. But I think you got 2 ways to attack the pocket. I was talking to Brian O'Keefe earlier this morning, and he felt the ones that can kind of get in and kind of slow hook it have a great look, and the ones who can play a little straighter, like between 5 and 10, and just kind of jam it in the pocket, have the best look so far. And pretty much that's what I've seen. I know Diana has a really good look. She's been bowling well. Shannon Plahowski's got a great look on the left side, and she just keeps holding pocket every game I've seen her bowl. See, Maria made a jump last game. Shot like 240 or 250 because she was in like the 130s or 120s. So she made a move.
Yeah, she was plus 129.
Yeah,
and outside the top 12. Speaking of that, let's just go ahead and get the full refresh. And after 11 games, Wowski still in the lead at plus 389. Restrepo is still second at plus 322. Clara is still third at plus 298, but I believe Diana now has moved up. And she's moved into fourth at plus 240. Liz Johnson is fifth at plus 226. Jordan Richard is sixth at plus 205. Kelly Kulik is seventh at plus 192. Maria Jose Rodriguez, as Summer just mentioned, 258 on top of the 233 there, plus 187. Giselle Poss, who has bowled well throughout because she bowled in the PTQ, is ninth at plus 180. Verity Crawley plus 146, Daria Payok plus 144. They are 10th and 11th respectively, and Liz Colkin has made her way back into the top 12 at plus 121. Jen Higgins, one of the local players, of course, out here on tour from Westerville, which is not too far from where we are, is at plus 108 and 13th. There are 3 players in the 90s, plus 97, plus 96. Gongora is at plus 97 and 14th, and Birgit Poplar and Aaron McCarthy tied at plus 96. Shannon O'Keefe trying to make her move and still has a few games to get there at plus 88. Sydney Brummett in good position at plus 80, and then there's a bit of a gap between 18th and 19th, plus 80 and then plus 34. That is where Jody Westner stands. So your thoughts are in line, looks like with everyone else's, in the sense, to talk to Steve Jacobs very early this morning before round 1, and he kind of echoed what you talked about in the sense of, you know, straighter players or lower rev rate players would have the opportunity to play a little straighter and play to the right. Those with a little rev rate and could move left and be slow with it could also be successful. So, and it looks like, from what I understand, that the practice session really kind of made that clear.
Yes.
From yesterday as well.
And I mean, the pattern's just playing truer since the pro-am was on leftovers of the practice session, because I heard Wayne requested it, if I'm not mistaken. They've done a great job too. Wayne and Elaine Webb, they've been great hosts for the ladies.
They are very experienced in regards to obviously hosting some professional events. As we see Aaron McCarthy. Saw Aaron get off to that great start earlier. She has gone 267, 220, 222. And of course, coming into this afternoon's competition, she was minus 13.
I saw she was struggling a little bit this morning. I didn't see a shot this morning, but then when you pulled up the scores and I saw her first 3 games in the second round, man, she's making a run.
She is, and
Because I figured she'd be up there with the way she's able to play
Sure.
the lanes. And she looks like she's being a little firmer than I thought she'd be. But I think she's probably trying to keep her angles not as open and keeping it kind of in front of her.
nice crumble and the collapse of the 7 and the 10 and everything in between for Zavyalova there. Here's Jordan Richard. And Jordan back on this low end of the house, essentially, based on the pairs that we're using.
Right.
And had some few struggles. She bowled on 25 and 26 to start round 2. I think she threw the last 4 or 5 to get to 2-0. And now back on this end and experiencing some things. So not sure if this end is playing significantly different than maybe the other end, but Danny mentioned that a little bit, and just kind of how the players are able to adjust to each end. Of course, can be crucial.
I was talking to Missy at lunch, and she was just talking about how she felt like pair to pair there's significant differences, and from even lane to lane, you can see it. I mean, that's what makes the bowling so hard. It's just all the difference of who you follow, where they're playing. You just don't know what's out there, or you can't see it. And we basically just go off what we see ball reaction wise.
The always serious invisible playing field, of course. As they say, you're playing the pattern, not everyone else.
Exactly.
In that sense. Zavyalova stepped off. Didn't matter much. DZ smiling. Smiled 2 shots, 2 in a row she smiled. Probably because the first one she crumbled some things. That one from the footing perspective, so they have gotten away with one. But hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly. It still looks good on the scoreboard.
So where did your driving adventures take you?
Oh, after Minnesota, I actually left Saturday night or Saturday afternoon and went to Chicago or Elgin.
Okay.
Stayed with my friend Natalie. I don't know if she's watching. Probably not. And then I ended up bowling a little 8-game. Well, it was a women's tournament.
Yeah, the Estrogen Open,
The
right?
Estrogen Open. Bowled. We had 8 games of qualifying on the pattern we did not know until after, which ended up being.
You're used to that.
Yeah. And they were hard. It was the 39-foot bear,
Okay.
and it was completely flat. And the topography in that place just has early friction. And I led it at 90 under for 8 games.
Wow.
Yes, they were hard.
That's a grind.
Yes, it was a grind. I shot 210 the last game, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm good for like top 5 because she does a step ladder finals. And then I get to talking to everybody, and I'm like, oh, where'd you finish? What do you think it's going to be? And I'm like, oh, I got a chance at the lead, just, like from what everyone was talking, and it was, I can't remember, like she paid 7 people. And I know the 5th place qualifier was like -10 something. And they were tough. And they just got harder and harder each pair, so.
So what happened? Did you win? Did you?
I ended up losing to Jody Golick in the finals, a fellow PWBA member.
Yep.
So we had, believe in the top 5, we had 4 PWBA members. It was myself, Jody Golick, Samantha Kelly, and Aaron. I don't know how to pronounce it. Yes.
Well, that's good. Good attendance there for the Estrogen Open. Daniela has ran that for a very long time. I think at this point, at least it seems like it.
Yeah, that was, I believe, the 9th one, and she's got the 10th one up and got the schedule, or got her date set.
Nice.
And I got to give a shout out to a couple people watching. Got a couple texts. Got to say hi to Mandy, who's in listening.
Okay.
She's
Hi, Mandy.
bowled a few stops, and then Natalie's listening. Hey, Natalie.
What's up, Nat?
So after that tournament, I actually went home for a day. Yeah, I know, right?
Like West Virginia home?
Yeah, like home. I did.
How far was that drive?
From Elgin's like 11 hours,
Okay.
and then to here is only like 3.5. So I'm like,
Fair enough. Okay. I could understand that.
yeah. So I got to see, my parents and my dog. They actually came up here, watched a little bit, and then they hit the road.
Well, we thank them for stopping by. And we thank you for being able to go home for a day as well. All right, so here is Poss. And Giselle struggling here in this game. And we rarely see Giselle's ball hit like that.
Oof.
And so when you see that, what comes to mind? Especially with a player like that who's...
With Giselle, she's been bowling well today,
Yeah.
too. Like, she's matched up really well on the PTQ pattern and the one that's out they're bowling on right now. I just haven't seen her shots. But, like I said, topography in here, that pair could just be a little different.
Here's Poplar. Red Steph. On a pair together. And Birgit trying to make the move.
I gotta do another shout out. I gotta shout out to Terry Turner and his family. They're from Huntington, West Virginia, or that's where I know where they're from. They're also great bowlers. I believe his wife bowled with Kelly in college, Kelly Kulik.
How about that?
So hi Terry.
Jordan Richard has made it 3 in a row and looking to make it 4. Josie Barnes has struggled uncharacteristically today. She's on 27 and 28. You see Poplar to the right of your screen. She is now on a double. Here is Zavyalova in the 9th frame. This is game 4 of this block, but game 12 of 16. And she wraps a 10-pin. Here is Steph, who
She's struggling today. I thought she would have bowled well on this. But maybe she got trapped about where to play more, like a little more angle or a little straighter, like keep it a little more tighter in front of her. It gets a little confusing because you see something in practice and you feel like they're gonna play one way, and you come in and they look totally different than what you saw in practice.
Yeah, that shot, the last shot we saw from Steph, she made a move, and something a little different than what I have seen so far from her. Has moved left. Still pretty direct in that sense, but not, around 5-6 at this point.
She's probably around 16, 17 at the arrows. I didn't see the break point.
Another good shot there from Steph. And she's been throwing good shots. Mentioned McCarthy, 709 for the first 3 games of this round. And she's going to add to that total. Spare for Steph so she can get to 185. So we take a look at Josie Barnes and Kelly Kulik. Looks like Kelly got a break. She is bowling on 29 and 30. A lot of people in the chat very happy to see Kelly right now in the top 10. Right now she is 7th at plus 192, if I read that correctly. That is correct. feel that this week's pattern so far, and you just mentioned it, it can be somewhat confusing because there's been some 3-baggers, there's some 4-baggers, and all of a sudden it'd be a 6 or 5.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, just lane to lane, pair to pair. You feel like you see the transition. That was a great cover. But topography. And there it is.
Big church for Zavyalova.
And she really liked that shot.
It looked good.
I thought it was good off her hand. If anything, it might have been a touch slower, but
217 for McCarthy, and Aaron is on the top 12 trail right now on the heels of it. DZ can give this a run here.
oof.
She'll get a couple. All right, Jordan Richard will go first. Richard set here on 23. 4-bagger for the young rook with a title. How about 5?
That was a great shot. Did she make a ball change or did she make?
I feel like she did, but I can't guarantee that, nor can I confirm it. So I'm going to say that she did.
There's a slow roller off camera for Burgett.
Good work there from Poplar. Keeps her 220 dream here. She can get to 221. Take a look at the scores over on 27 and 28. Posh is trying to get through this pair with something positive. All right, back to Richard.
Another great shot.
One thing I've noticed about Jordan, and it's happened a couple of times to her today, is her ability to withstand in-game adversity. Meaning, and we'll go back to it in 1 second as you see the wiggle on the 7-pin for Peter Getz. Look at this game here. Strike 7-2, 7-2. 9-spare, 8-1. So, but she's done this a couple times where she's been able to close games very well. Made a ball change to try something on the fill and throws the back 7 for 214. Now, obviously, she would much prefer not to have to do that to get to 214, but the ability to be able to do it is something that, you know, that's not like a thing you take for granted. Like, that's it's not something that everyone can do.
Exactly. That's, for most people, you go strike 7-2, 7-2, you're like, it's panic mode. And then if you 9 count, if you maybe she left a 10-pin or something, it's like, okay, I'm close. And then she 8-1, and then it's like, oh, we're back in panic mode. I mean, it's one of those things. Then you start pressing. You're like, oh, I need to shoot 2. I need to strike out. I need to, that's when you really, you start, like I said, you start pressing, and then you start making worse shots, and it just gets worse. Like, you just could end up in the worst predicament. But she just kind of reset herself, throws the back 7, and just saves the game. That's what's amazing about most of the ladies on tour. They're able to do that. Or your elite, like your top field, most of this field. Mm-hmm. Those elite players are able to regroup middle of the game and just be able to pull it off. I think I said that I bowled with Liz Culkin last week, and I said something to her. I'm like, your ability to throw like the back 6 to shoot 220 or 2-0 is like, it's unreal. Like,
it's something else. And
it is. It's fun to watch.
She did it. She did it early. She had the back 4 for 2-0. Did it another time, and now again here, you hate that as a player that you get off to that bad start, but the ability to have the short mind and short memory, I should say. Kelly doing her thing down there, and the crowd is into it. Giselle Poss. And there's the Poss shot that we know. 171 on the fill.
That's actually not too bad. I thought that could have been a lot worse.
All done on 23, 24, 25, and 26. And Chelsea Barnes with a fill shot remaining. Good shot there for Jose.
Sydney's close to the number, right? Or is she in the number? She's close. Oh, she can make a run at it. That's what it was.
Yes, she's at plus 80. And so.
And she's still got 230 left out there.
Plenty of games left at this point. Oh, that's quality.
That was a great shot. Looked like it just went a little too far. I must say, most of them are shiny, like pearls right now.
Some of the bowling balls that you're seeing being thrown?
Yeah.
Any particular reason why you think that might be?
Well, I mean, I always think this. So this is the, let's see. They put it down for practice, and then this morning is the second time. So this is the third time they put it down. I think each time they put it down, it gets tighter down lane. And then if you try to use something that picks up a little sooner, it burns up too quick. So I feel like you needed cleaner covers, and they needed to be quicker down lane. So that's what I feel like they're going to. So she was throwing something shiny, Diana was, Aaron wasn't a pearl, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they have surface on it or not, but they're in the cleaner covers. Like I said, I just don't know if they have surface. Sydney's going to try a different ball. That one picked up a little sooner.
Yeah, and you could see it. Sometimes, I mean, when you hone in on it, you watch the ball track, right? Just the motion from the time the player releases it. I thought that you could clearly see, if you kind of had the two shots in mind. The wrap 10 went, I guess, on the lane. How many feet extra would you say?
A couple feet, maybe.
Couple feet, so 2 to 3 feet longer before it began to grab the lane. And you can clearly see on the fill shot the different ball, which looked to be.
Yeah, I think it's still intense
fire, whatever it is, something like that.
It's intense fire. It had
grabbed early.
Yes, it looked like it had a touch more. It's not a shiny. And it also, I believe it also has a bigger core. So it's going to read the lane a little differently than I believe she was throwing a winner. The rotor grip winner. That's what it looked like.
Are we going to game 13?
Game 13.
This is where every week, when I get to the 13s and the 14s, I almost start confusing myself on which game we're actually in.
I tell you what, they're going fast today with 3 on a pair and one set
okay,
of
so
2.
It's just not me. It is going by kind of quick.
It is. Because last week with 4s, it felt really long.
Here's Sandham. Gets a solid break there. Didn't like the footing, but she'll be happy with that 2-pin. As we see Danielle McEwen and Dasha Kovalova here on 23 and 24.
Yeah, Danielle's farther left than I thought she would be. But great shot to start the game.
Over on 27 and 28, Chelsea Stevens, Jen Higgins, and Maria Jose Rodriguez. Nice shot there from Chelsea. Over off camera, we'll get a chance to see Kovalova. Let's see where this grouping is here. Kovalova has struggled today. It's at minus 127. Sandham was at minus 27 after 11 games. And Danielle McEwen is +4, or was +4 after 11 games. and 24th. Haven't received our new update, but we will in I think just a few seconds. Everyone looks to be into the next game. If you're nearby, perhaps maybe you're getting off of work and you have an opportunity, stop on by Wayne Webb's Columbus Bowl and watch the best women in the world compete here at the 2018 Nationwide PWBA Columbus Open. Literally in the backyard of one of our sponsors. Nationwide is just downtown here in Columbus. We appreciate their relationship and what they do for the PWBA Tour and their relationship with the United States Bowling Congress as well in the Member Rewards Program. With Summer Jasmine, my name is Emil Williams Jr. This is game 13 of 16. This is round 2 of Elite Field qualifying. We'll cut to the top 12 after tonight's round. Those 12 bowlers will come back tomorrow morning, and they will bowl 6 additional games, and then we'll know our top 5 will compete live TV finals on CBS Sports Network. They'll take place tomorrow, again August 18th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS Sports Network. Seen some convo about some cool places in the world. Milan and Italy, Ireland, of course. Summer, what have you traveled, been outside the country?
I have not.
Really? All right, so where would you like to go?
I don't know, to be honest. Well, I'd probably want to see the Philippines. That's where my parents are from.
Okay.
And everyone, all my dad's side of the family, like, oh, you have to go to the Philippines. And I said, well, maybe, we'll see. Really don't know for sure, but that would be one of them.
Would you like to bowl while you're there, or just go?
No, I would just go.
Joe would go and visit. Don't worry about
vacation.
Right.
Without bowling balls.
Now, along those terms, would you like to bowl a particular event that is held somewhere outside the country, whether it's a World Bowling Tour type event or a European event, for example? Have you thought about that, or would you do it at least one time? Would you like to?
I would probably try to do it once. I know.
Now, I know you can't drive to these places.
I know. Yeah, I'd have to fly. We were talking about it because I believe at the World Series, like one of the events I bowled counted for the World Bowling Tour points, and I did not realize it. And then I got a text from one of my friends, and I'm like, "What does this mean?" And that's where the top 3 women might get that final or have a little step ladder.
The World Bowling Tour finals.
Yeah. I think I was 4th.
How about that?
And I was like, "Oh, what's this for?" And then one of my friends made a joke. They're like, "You should have gotten out of the country and bowled one more and had a chance." And I'm like, "Well, I didn't even know. Like, I just bowled the World Series for experience." And that was, like I said, I learned a lot. Learned a lot about myself. And that's what bowling is. To get to where these ladies are, you gotta get the experience. And that's constantly bowling tournaments. Just little things.
Is there ever such thing as a bad experience, in your opinion?
Not a bad experience per se, like learning experience. You
Yeah.
always have a lesson that you
Right.
feel like you've learned something from each one. And I think the minute you stop learning something, then it's probably time to stop. That's how I feel, but I don't know how you feel about that. But that's what I think.
I agree. E-Mac, round 4th arrow.
She's playing, keeping her angles pretty tight, but she's definitely around the 4th arrow.
Looks like someone, I'm not sure, maybe they want to meet you. Miss Linda Ardo, maybe they would like to meet you. Or they could be talking about me. I'm not sure. But sounds like Linda will be here tomorrow. If you are Linda, be sure to check out the Fan Fest. Hopefully,
I'll say come out for the Fan Fest. We got ball demos and meet and greets.
Yep.
That sound right? Yep.
Got
Those have been fun.
They have.
Yeah.
I was talking to Danny about that earlier, and they have been a very welcomed thing. They've turned out to be, I guess, if you could dream it up when we thought about the idea, that's what you think about. But sometimes things you plan don't always go the way you plan. But Fan Fest have been very well, thanks to everyone who.
They have been great. I'll tell you what, the first Fan Fest I've ever been to was in this bowling center here.
Really?
They ran one during the PBA Players Championships and helped out with the demo day, and they had it all set up, basically blocked off the TV set in this area right here where we're sitting.
Mm-hmm.
They had started it they had all the ball demos. It was from like lanes 23 to the end of the house. Had everything set up. All the pros were here. You got to take pictures with them. You got, of course, your swag they're giving out.
Right.
And I tell you what, they had a great time. Just a great time because it's the time you get to meet the pros, get to talk to them a little bit. Of course, you get to try out some of the new equipment that's coming out or it's been released. And it was just a great experience.
Had a quick note or question about, by the way, Judy said don't stop bowling on tour. So I'll make sure that she does not stop bowling, Judy. From what I understand about Summer, as long as she can drive there, she's definitely going to bowl. In regards to the pattern, of course we don't know what it is, but it's
long.
It's different than the PTQ pattern.
Oh, for sure.
Without question in that regard. So
I feel it's just because this place has so much friction, it's definitely a longer one. So my guess would be between, my guess would be 43.
43.
43, 44, somewhere in there.
What did you think about the PTQ pattern in regards
Compared
to
to
this?
this? I felt the PTQ pattern was tighter to the right, so if you missed, I feel like this one there's something you can kind of throw it to, not like a big area, but there's a little place that you can get it a little
more defined friction.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yes, exactly, a little more defined friction, and it'll come back, and the ball would come back. On the PTQ, you miss a little right, and it just kind of wiggled. It kind of hung out there.
That's what it looked like.
And so, first shot in practice, when I came in and watched it, I was like, they got a little more hook than what we did. So, but then again, like I said, elite field, they can make it look easy.
That's funny. Here's Sandham.
Ooh, that's a terrible break.
Linda, thanks for coming out tomorrow. Be happy to meet, and appreciate you always tuning in. Angel, that's a good question. We do release the main condition essentially after the TV show. So if you're curious about what the players bowled on in St. Petersburg and last week in the Twin Cities, those oil patterns are available on the respective schedule event pages, so you can check those out on PWBA.com. In regards to PTQ, but check that out because they're different, and so because of that. But you never know, of course, in the world of lane maintenance and the smart folks at Kegel, for example, who create Nick Hoagland, patterns. It's easy to be able to tweak a pattern, a condition. As Danielle, tough shot there, would result in a 210. So you never know what the great minds in our sport, and Nick Hoagland is certainly one of them.
Yeah, with all the different conditioners, I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
For all we know, it could be the same pattern, and they just use a different conditioner. We don't know. We'll find out sooner or later.
Well, we're going to find out for sure tomorrow. So if you watch the show tomorrow, whoever will be our analyst, it could be Kelly Kulik, but right now,
she's trying to make a run for a show.
Kelly is in 8th place at plus 204 as we take a look at the standings.
Great shot for Jen Higgins. Jen's your number right now at plus 142.
Sandham trying to make a run. 4-pin for Chelsea Stevens, who is bowling very well this game. Well, and we'll take a peek over at Brianna Cote at the front 3 and takes care of a 4-pin. I believe, I forgot what game it was. It might have been maybe the second to last game this morning, but Cote had shot her first 200 game at that time. Pluhowski, by the way, is still in the lead, but the lead is shrinking. 23 pins. At plus 383, Restrepo is second. Rowe has gone 222, 238 last 2 games, plus 360. Lead shrinking overall as Clara Guerrero has gone 231, 241, 221, 246 to get to plus 344. Now Liz Johnson is 4th at plus 264, and that one is outside the
tracer.
The target line there for Danielle McEwen. Zavialova is 5th at plus 234. Maria Jose Rodriguez is now 6th at plus 222. Jordan Richards 7th at plus 219. Kelly Kulik 8th at plus 204. Verity Crawley 9th at plus 185. Daria Payok is 10th at plus 153. Giselle Poss is 11th at plus 151. And Jen Higgins is 12th at plus 142. Liz Culkin has been around 12th or 13th. It seems like for the last few games, she's now 13th at plus 133. Erin McCarthy again has just moved on up the leaderboards, now in 14th at plus 113. Jurgen Poplar is 15th at plus 107. And let's see, Sandra Gungor plus 103. Sydney Brummett plus 95. Shannon O'Keefe plus 90. Let's see, Sandham is plus 52, and that's who you're watching now. Trying to put something together. She's clean through 7, though. No doubles until now.
She just changed balls. She might have changed balls a little earlier, but she definitely made a ball change.
McEwen, gets a good break.
Roll the 2-pin.
She'll roll the 2, but still thinking of what's going to work on that pair as Cote able to get the 7 out. Kovalova. Ladasha, another good shot.
She can't catch a break. She can't strike.
She even had to smile about it at this point, and sometimes that's all you can do.
See, Liz made a ball change too.
looks like here, let's see, I'm gonna check some things, but the score links are working. If you not sure where you're looking, but you can try the links that are located in the event description. If they don't happen to work, I should try to clear your cache, then refresh, and that should do it for you.
Yes, the refresh button is your friend. Because I'm bad for not refreshing. We're like, there are 2 games behind. Oh no, forgot to refresh. Brianna's actually a little farther right than Jessica. She's farther right than anybody else.
That's got a hook.
Might have put the jinx on her.
See what type of move Danielle makes here. Not comfortable, but got a break.
Oh, she missed right. Last couple shots and off her hand, it's not been good.
Very not very Danielle-esque, as
Yes,
that we're
yes.
used to seeing, certainly. But,
Well, I thought the last shot off her hand, the one on 23, was on target, but it just, off her hand wasn't good. I don't know what it is, though. I mean, I can see it, I just can't pick it out.
meanwhile, Erin McCarthy is flirting with another 260 game. And I'm pretty sure if she shoots 260, she's more than likely going to be in the number. Good run there for Cote. McEwen will take the count. And over to 27 and 28. To the right, there's Zavyalova. Diana can get to the 220s. Looks like 226 max. Here's Rodriguez, 9th frame.
A little left off her hand.
Maria bowling very well here. See Jody Western to your left on the screen, and Jen Higgins.
Oh, that was a great shot.
Jen has had plenty of experience bowling some events here at the Columbus Bowl. Again, this is just down the way for her. About an hour from Shannon Pluhowski. I think 2.5 hours or so from Jody Westner, where she lives. And the 4-pin for McEwen. Pretty solid game here for Chelsea Stevens, and 7-pin over on 26 from Liz Colkin. So McCarthy shoots 256.
Gets her to 169. Is that right?
Yep.
160.
And right now that would be in the number. And she has done that essentially in 5 games. Birgit Poplar has made her way up the leaderboard too, after being minus 39 after the first round this morning. So 2 players with some key changes. Not exactly sure what those are, but my guess would be that maybe got to look at a ball that could work maybe later in a block and came in with a plan, obviously.
Yes.
And have been able to execute said plan.
Gotta have that open gotta have an open mind between each block. But I did see a lot of the ladies and ball reps. They were right before practice, before the start of the round. They were running back to the locker room to taking balls back on the spinner, changing surfaces. I know Maria made a ball change somewhere in the middle of that game. She switched to the new Motive Rogue Blade, which I believe comes out Wednesday. Figured I'd do a little advertising.
Little worldwide release there.
Yep, worldwide release date.
Jordan Richard is going to shoot 250 plus. Strike will give her 258. Asha Kovalova trying to figure out which ball she should throw to try to figure some things out. Let's take a look here at Liz Colkin. Uh-oh.
That's left. Good break.
Jen Higgins, I believe the number is, I think 5 total Ohio Queens titles. I think she had like a stretch of 4 in a row.
Sounds right.
And of course, in this state, based on just basing on the number of participants in the PTQ, there's a lot of players here.
Ton of bowlers.
In Ohio and obviously the state, but even the local area as well. For you, what was happening for you yesterday in regards to the PTQ? You had been 2 for 2 in that area in regards to advancing. So what was not necessarily different, but what did you see, and how did you try to combat it?
Well, when your execution is not very good,
Okay.
it makes it hard, and I didn't see a picture. And when you don't see the picture and you just couldn't repeat shots, it makes it look so hard. And I look back at it, and I'm like, and then I was talking to Nathan, and he's like, you missed 10 makeables, and that's not you. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So probably just couldn't get the right tempo, and it happens. I'm grateful that. If it did happen, it's like near the end of the tour, but got one more stop left, and it's a major, so gonna practice. Hopefully get the right tempo going again, and but yeah, just didn't see the picture, didn't throw it well, and by the time I did see a picture, I couldn't get the 10 pin out, so a little disappointed, but that's okay. It's over and done with. Move on to the next one.
In regards to the word tempo.
Yes.
Now, are you talking about like your physical tempo on the approach?
Yes. Tempo on the approach. Just wasn't there.
No rhythm. Couldn't get it.
No, couldn't get it going. And I was talking to a couple friends and was like, this is what happened. Verity, I was talking to her and she was like, yeah, I was really late on one shot. Like, it just totally wrong. She's like, you might need to get your push away started a little quicker. And I'm like, all right. So that's in my mind. So I'm going to do a drill where I just basically just grab the ball and just walk, just start going, and then I'll eventually just get my tempo back.
You're not going to throw the ball.
But I will throw the ball. Yes.
You will.
I will. Yeah.
So you're just going to walk.
Just basically pick it up. Don't even get lined up and just go.
Okay.
Just basically just go.
To kind of like not theoretically kind of put your mind into what you're doing.
Yes.
Just allow
everything.
Your body, your muscle memory to just kind of take it over
Yes.
in that regard. Okay.
Yeah, that's on the plans. That's what I'll probably be doing during the demo day. So.
Huh. That's an interesting tool. Maybe some advice that someone else could could take into account. Hello, all who are checking in. Let me know how that goes, obviously. Potassium break for Verity Crawley.
She's always snacking. Pick
Well,
on
that's
her.
important.
Yep, just keeps her energy.
Maybe just, what do you think else? What else is you think she's got? Maybe some almonds or something?
She
or
was snacking on a yogurt earlier.
some yogurt?
today. Yeah.
Okay. Did she bring enough?
I don't know. We can ask. I know she likes tea.
Well,
The English.
the question is what type of tea?
I don't know. To tell you the
That's the
truth.
question.
No clue.
We're about to start game 14, folks. Well, let's take about a 2-minute break or so, and we'll be back with you. You are watching the Nationwide PWBA. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. Let's start over. You're
Try
watching
again.
the Nationwide PWBA Columbus Open on Bull TV. We are on to
14.
what game this round? 6?
That'll be game 6. Yep.
Game 6. Game 6, round 2, game 14 overall. And if you're scoring at home, 2 more after this. Nonetheless, let's start with the scores, however. By the way,
they are updated.
They are updated. For those who may be still having some trouble, looks like others in the chat have recommended where to look. If those don't work, it'll be below your event description or below the video screen in the event description. If those don't work, you can also check pwba.com/live. That'll also get you to the standings and the correct link. So, nonetheless, to my left is Summer Jasmine, PWBA Tour player. Oh, what a break.
Roll the 2-pin.
We're going to have to...
that's the second one on that pair that I've seen, or that lane.
Yeah, we'll have to clip that and use that somewhere on a social media calendar, something.
I like it.
We got to use that somehow. Summer Jasmine is with me. My name is Emil Williams Jr. And let's take a look at your scores. After 13 games, we've got a new leader. Her name is Rocio Restrepo, last week's champion at the BowlerX.com Twin Cities Open at plus 418. That is an average of 232.15. I'd say that's pretty good. Also pretty good, Shannon Pluhowski at plus 399, averaging 230.69. Clara Guerrero, third at plus 376. Liz Johnson is fourth at plus 288. Jordan Richard, talking about closing. The game she saved today, 201 and 214 to go with 258, 234, and 258 has propelled her now to fifth at plus 277. Diana Zavialova sixth at plus 250. Maria Jose Rodriguez is seventh at plus 225. Kelly Kulik is eighth at plus 201. Daria Payok ninth at plus 200. Verity Crawley 10th at plus 185. Erin McCarthy is 11th at plus 169, and Liz Culkin is 12th at plus 159. Birgit Poplar just on the outside, plus 143 and 13th, along with Jen Higgins. They are tied at that number. Shannon O'Keefe has moved on up the leaderboard as well. She was plus 32 after 8 games this morning, now at plus 134 and in 15th place. Giselle Paz has come back to the pack and has relinquished a spot in the top 12. Struggling here the last 3 games, plus 118. Sandra Gongora hanging tough at plus 103. Sydney Brummett now at plus 76.
I just have to say Rocio has been bowling phenomenal the last like 2 weeks here. I bowled beside of her last week, and she played a part of lane that no one else did to start with, and it just like she just matched up and just I bowled beside Rocio and then I bowled with Liz, so I got to see like front row seat to both of them, and they just whacked them when everyone else was kind of like right in the middle of the pack, and you either had it or you didn't, and those two just kind of matched up and then just went at it. But she has been bowling phenomenal.
Good shot from Shelby New. Boomer shine.
She's struggling right now.
Yeah, Rowe has been, I think, well documented after the win in regards to how she spent the break. And many players obviously took the time in July when there was no stop, early stop, I should say. Of course, the Lucy was at the end of the month.
Right.
But to take the time to make some changes. Diana Z mentioned it after her win in St. Pete. She took the time to work on footwork. Rowe talked about the changes, and I think she had made some pitch changes and some other things physically. And I mean, these are some serious changes.
Did she change from like a 4 to a 5-step?
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, because I think I saw it on the show.
I feel like I can't confirm if that change was during that time.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But I feel like she said it was like a 4.5 step.
Okay.
I swear she said that, and I could be just thinking that she said that, but
It's funny because like sometimes when I'm bowling also, like I don't see some of them just because we're on different sides of the house, and then like we're just so far apart we don't see each other. So I'm like, sometimes I don't see anybody bowl, like, and I'm like, I didn't even know you were bowling. Because you're in your own little world, and then of course they could be on the other side of the house, or if we're in a split house, or on the other side, and we never see each other when we flip. It's crazy, but she's bowling phenomenal the last couple weeks.
She looks like herself.
Yes, she looks like the Rocio of like a couple years ago, or when she made a run for Player of the Year, right?
Yeah, that was 2 seasons ago.
Okay.
2016. She won 2 titles and finished second to Liz Johnson, Player of the Year, and still had a chance to win at the Tour Championship. She would have needed to win the event
Exactly.
to win Player of the Year.
Yes.
That was the scenario in that situation. Here is Crawley. We'll get back to Rowe in just a second.
That is a great break for Verity there, Miss Wright. When you leave it 2, that is a great sign.
In regards to Rocio, and then all the while still, she said that she is not feeling, not her physical game, but physically and from the body perspective, still not 100%. She's gone through some health issues this year, a few injuries.
She had a stone in like Reno or something.
I
know she went to the ER in Reno at Queens. Kidney stone, I think. Can't remember. And I know last week she had, I don't know what that thing is, where it like does the stimulus to like kind of, I don't know what it's called.
Well, she's got some tools.
Yes.
We were talking about it during the break. Some tools that help muscles and tendons, and she takes pride in taking care of herself.
Yes.
And which is why the year that she's had in regards to the health has been so, I won't say detrimental, because she obviously hasn't allowed it to be, that hindrance, if you will, but
Right.
It's been a pain in the sense, no pun intended, to have to kind of deal with that from her perspective. But she's taken it in stride, just like she would, and has still emerged victorious, throughout the adversity period. But yeah, she looks like she's having fun. It looks like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yes.
you see the smile, the fierce
Yes.
look. Listen, if you see all 32 from Rowe, all 32 teeth, it's going well.
Yes.
She's on a smile, but be fierce in a good way, and it's the Rowe way. That's what I like to call it, because no one else kind of does it the way she does it.
I agree.
There's Boomershine on the left.
I was gonna say, I know Rocio is one of my mom's favorite bowlers.
Is Rowe above you on that list?
Probably. Because I asked her, I was like, who are you gonna go watch, this weekend? She said, Rocio and Daria Coyote. And I was like, okay, I see how it is. That's okay. She watches me bowl league.
Fair enough.
So.
Fair enough.
So she sees me like every week. So for her to come out, at least get to watch a little bit, she enjoys it.
Nice spare for Boomershine. Let's see what Danielle has. Hewen is going strike spare, double. Those 2 spares, 8 spare. Well, I'll tell you what, her ball wasn't doing that on 23 and 24. That was a great shot. In the PTQ, Summer, and you've had a chance to bowl in all 3.
Yes.
The Elite Field Tour. From the bowler perspective, like were there players that participated in the PTQ that you said, wow, this, some of these folks really have some opportunities from a talent perspective. We got some great talent, and should they choose to go down this path, could become very good players on tour. Have you've been seen a couple players like that have caught your eye in a sense?
Well, I mean, I bowled with my group last week. I bowled with 3 members.
Fair enough.
Or 2 members. I'm sorry, 2 members. So those people I've seen before, and then we crossed the other. So I'm like, okay. And the week before, it was a different group, and they look like they've never bowled on something tough before, so they made it look hard. And I mean, they are hard, don't get me wrong, but
you're right. I mean, if you
but for them to come out and give it a try, it takes guts. You gotta take the risk, give it a chance, and sometimes you just gotta see where you fit. And when people are like, oh, you should do this, you should give it a try, I mean, that's how I started. My coach is like, you need to go out and give it a try, try a stop, see how it goes. And then eventually it's like you start coming out, you get more confidence with each experience. And then when you cash, you're like, oh, maybe I should, I'll try again, and then you try again. But where we don't know the patterns, you never know if you're going to match up to that 1 week you don't go. You feel like that might have been the week you matched up. And then that's when you feel like you could have averaged like 240 and ran away in the field. But so that's how I go at it. I feel like you come out each week, you give it a try. And like I said, you don't know the pattern. Like, not before you go out there. I know the regular stops, we get the pattern 30 minutes before practice. We don't know going into that tournament what it's going to be.
Right.
But this year they gave us the scorecard, or the
standard event scorecard.
So we had an idea, so we knew we could mark them off. And we're like, we're done with this one, we're done with this one.
And
you should start charging for that. Charging for the chargers. No, I'm kidding.
I mentioned that because Shelby New, who is here, and again, I know obviously when you're bowling, and there were a lot of people yesterday, obviously too, so you may not have had a chance. Exactly.
So I'm getting to see her bowl now.
She caught my eye. I mean, I was watching her yesterday, and obviously she was able to make it for a reason.
Exactly.
And she bowled pretty well yesterday, but I'm wondering, and I haven't got a chance to speak with her either, but just on the, to be able to come out, and even saw Samantha Infantino,
who came from Florida.
Yeah, who made the PTQ or advanced to the PTQ in St. Pete, bowled this week as well to give it another run, which I thought was, impressive. And I don't know, I've taken to the PTQ, and I knew exactly what it was. I'm very familiar with the term, obviously, but was also looking forward to, though, mainly to seeing what some of the local players in the areas will present, and just kind of get an idea of, hey, who we might see, next year, or who might decide, hey, they're going to give it a whirl and bowl an event or two. I'm always looking ahead to kind of see what, obviously, in the future.
I look at it as it's $100 entry fee, 8-game sweeper. You got to finish in the top 8, top 9 right now this year. And if you finish there, you're guaranteed a check. It's pretty good. I know this one was, like I said, this one was going to be the hardest one. A lot more competition, bigger field. And like I said, topography here is very tricky. Pair to pair, lane to lane.
Someone in the chat, Aaron Campbell, said this was Shelby's first run, and I would say that that's a job well done.
It's a successful run
on her part, and she's been fun to watch these last couple of days since we watched Sandham here. All right, so Liv, what's that, 222 max?
Yep, 222 max. She's going to need a couple big games to get her close. 'Cause I feel like the cut's gone up
Absolutely.
every game.
Here's
Whether-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone up every game, so. Oh, Danielle's moved back right.
And that's what I wanted to bring up to you, because you specifically thought that you were, I won't say surprised, but
I was.
you were surprised.
I was surprised at how far left she
how
was.
far left she was, and she has made the move right. Now, we're not saying that making the move right has made this game all of the success, but perhaps the move and maybe a ball change, whatever it is, but it
Definitely
looks
made
like
a ball change. I don't know what she started. I can see she did make a ball change, but when you have that confidence that you know she's gonna repeat shots,
Mhm.
but you got to be confident that it's gonna just be like easy
Right.
repeatability. She got into fourth arrow, and I said something just didn't look right off her hand, and now she's moved back right, playing a little more direct, a little firmer ball speed, and her look looks 10 times better than what it did over here on 23 and 24.
She is extremely versatile.
Yes. I think this pair's starting to hook a little more for Rocio. Tell you what, Shelby keeps it in play. Keeps it around the pocket. Makes her spares, catches, catch a double here and there. And then
If Aaron, if you know how old Shelby is, but she looks relatively young.
yes.
But also, if you'd like to withhold that information and not share it in a public chat, that too is okay. Totally would be understandable. Look at the final shot here for McEwen. Again, just the move she has made. She's made a jump, not left, but back right. And just looks just way more Danielle-esque, right? Just A to B, boom, boom, 10 back. I'm going to the next pair.
Yes. And that gets her to, I don't remember what she was at.
I'll tell you in 1 second. Nice game, 226 for Shelby, who is 23 years old. Thanks, Aaron.
She's a baby.
I tell you what,
Danielle, she was minus 30, so she's going to get the plus 7 after this game.
well, it could be too little, a bit too late for, but we never know,
Yeah, you never know.
because
They're getting tricky. They got tricky this morning.
right.
And I don't think I've ever bowled 2 blocks like round 1 to round 2 have been the same transition. If anything, the transitions were quicker. At least that's what I saw. Nice game for Haley Richard. 236. I told her to strike a lot, and she did. Maybe you just needed. She was just saying she should have done it down on the other end. I said maybe she just needs to bring us along with her.
It's very possible.
Maybe we bring luck to some people.
It's 50-50 on the live stream.
I know.
live stream
My
pairs.
average is like, I'm either really good or like just not good.
It is 50-50. So it goes really well sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't go very
My
well.
off-camera games are not bad. Like my off-camera average is actually, I think, 10 times better than what it is on camera. But we don't know. Like we don't know if like it's ever on camera because you flip or you
You're
flip
right.
now. Because before it used to just be like,
Right, we had
2 pairs.
We had 2 pairs, Tim Standard, and
yes.
indeed.
So
There's Gongora. Sandy. Well. It's getting tricky out there, as you said.
it is tricky. This 23 and 24.
I feel like yesterday during the PTQ, Shannon was on, and we talked about, she mentioned like the second transition
Okay.
and about this time of the block. I mean, there's never a way to, because you don't know how it's going to transition every single time, but
Exactly.
I imagine that you would have an idea based on, either practice or in this situation round one. But you just talked about how the transition is never the same from round one to round two.
Like, it's just quicker.
Right.
And I feel like they're quicker. You make your ball, like whatever you ended with, you're in it like game 4, and then you have to have a backup plan or a plan for the next ball after that. But you always have to have that, just I guess preparation
Sure.
would be the right word. Yeah. I mean, you just gotta be prepared for what you think might happen, and you hopefully don't have to go to it. It's kind of what I was kind of going toward there. But I mean, it happens. That's why each day or each block you have to come in open mind, say, okay, this worked the first round. Let's try it again in practice, and if it's not there, we got this one. And if that one's not there, then we got this one. You just gotta have plans, and that's where you really have to know your arsenal, like what's going, like what ball would be next in line, or which one would be the ball, like if you had a ball back up because the ball was going too far down the lane. So
I like that. And two things on that. Well, not on that particularly. One, good info. Appreciate the info from Aaron Campbell, who said that Shelby just turned 23, and that was Shelby basically gifted an entry for this event, the PTQ, to herself. That was her gift. That was her birthday gift, and she has turned that into
at least an $1,100 profit.
An opportunity for some good savings.
Yes.
At the least. Nice job to Shelby, of course. A couple more games left. And then one thing I want to touch on with Summers, you just talked about that's how you and why you have to know your arsenal.
Yes.
And so when we come back, I want to ask you and talk about, how a professional kind of goes about arsenal building, if you don't mind.
Sure.
All right, so arsenal building, a lesson from a professional. That's next here on Bull TV. Summer has been in the booth so much that we now allow her to just control the audio board. and I shouldn't say so much because you do bowl.
I do bowl.
But there have been some times where there's been designated times that you've been available.
Yes.
That you have offered and we have asked, like the Queens, for example, and a couple other times as we begin competition. And there is Daria Payok. She's got some fan support as normal in the crowd. I heard some of the loudest cheers for her today. Kelly Kulik, Jen Higgins, and Jody Western, for example, local players who have some fans and attendance and some crowd support as we watch Clara Guerrero. And looks like we've got our
We have an update?
14 game update. I'm going way back to round number 1. 7 games.
Cut went down. Went down to 155 over.
Sia Restrepo, your leader still, plus 438. Shannon Pluhowski now second at plus 411. And that's been the order for the last 2 games in regards to 1-2. Clara Guerrero third at plus 373. Clara has just been in third for the remainder of possible time. Jordan Richard is fourth at plus 323. Liz Johnson is fifth at plus 264. Diana Zavyalova is sixth at plus 232. Daria Payok is seventh at plus 231. Maria Jose Rodriguez is eighth at plus 218. Verity Crawley is ninth at plus 199. And 10th, I spare for Clara. Kelly Kulik at plus 190, 190. Jen Higgins, again from Westerville, just around the corner, is in 11th at plus 178. And right now the number, Bjørget Poplar has made the move into the top 12 at plus 155. Liz Colkin still 13th at plus 143. 25 out of the number right now is Giselle Poss, who we'll see on 23 and 24. Erin McCarthy was on a major run and then shot 150. She is now at plus 119. Shannon O'Keefe also gave a few pins back. She shot 177. She is at plus 111. Sandra Gongora, 17th at plus 106. Curious to see. Let's see who we'll have in Game 8. We'll have Daria, Clara, and Kelly. They'll be on 27 and 28. I'm talking about Game 8. I just realized Josie and Giselle are crossing together this week. Former coach player in that regard at Vanderbilt, and Sydney Brummett. And we'll have Bjørget and Stephanie Johnson to end things on 23 and 24. Speaking of Game 8, so we'll see who will be around the number. Right now, Poplar is the number.
Great shot off camera for Plahowski there.
Shannon has started with 3 in a row. All right, if you are just joining us, Summer Jasmine here. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Big thanks to everyone here at Wayne Webb's Columbus Bowl for the hospitality. Big thanks to our sponsor this week, Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. Appreciate them. Want to thank Joe Diamond, part of the National USBC Board of Directors. Just checked in on me to see if I was good, if I needed anything. Joe has been phenomenal and does great work in the local area as part of also on the local board here of the Central Ohio, I believe, USBC. All of her work, the day of the Bowlers Day at the ballpark on Wednesday, just a ton of work she's put in, along with other individuals like Blair Blumenschott, for example. So thanks to everyone here. It's been so far a very cool and successful week, and we can only look forward to great things, obviously, as we go forward until through the TV show tomorrow. So if you joined us prior to our brief break after Game 14, I asked that Summer kind of go a little bit into how a professional player on tour, for example, kind of goes about building an arsenal. And I know it changes. You know, there's certain levels of you know, access and things you have with brand representation and the whole nine. So, but when you get down to it, you know, how do you kind of go about what bowling balls you're looking at?
I would do it kind of basically. For example, if I would do a league arsenal,
Sure.
or I would do 4 balls.
Okay.
I would do, of course, plastic or urethane, something that you can throw pretty straight, that you're gonna make, you know, shoot your spares with. First ball would be kind of like my benchmark ball, be like a solid cover stock, symmetric, just so it's smooth off the back end and something rounded. For example, for me, on the moto side, it's a Venom Shock. Just gives me that round shape down lane. If I want to go a step above it, I would do, right now in line would be a Jackal Rising, which is strong, asymmetrical, solid cover stock for heavier oil. And then I would do the 4th ball, and that would be something shiny, maybe a pearl or a hybrid cover. For me, I would prefer symmetrical over to asym, just because I'm able to control the pocket a little better. So that would be, right now, would be that new Rogue Blade that's going to come out. That would be like a 4-ball arsenal I would do just for league, like, you know, just your normal house shot. And then if you bowl tournaments, then you got, from a house shot to the tournament, you got gaps. Then that's when you kind of start like fine-tuning what you really want shape-wise, or if you just want just for certain tournament shots. Like if we bowled on like a longer pattern, like 45 feet, anything higher than that, we'd probably want a couple more stronger balls in there just in case, to give you a couple options. And then if you bowl on or longer format ones, you need little shinier cover stocks or pearl cover stocks. That would be my next go-to. So that's just like a simple version of how I would do it.
Sure.
But then, because I feel like we go to a stop and everyone wonders why we all carry 20 bowling balls with us. For me, when I find a ball, you try to do different layouts.
With the same ball.
With
or
the same
not,
ball.
Obviously not the same ball, but
the same name ball.
3 of them.
Yes.
For example.
Yes, I have 3 Venom Shocks in my bag.
Okay.
And, 2 of them are laid out the same. The only difference I have on them is the finish. One's polished and one's a little duller. And then I have a 3rd one that's drilled to be a little I guess sooner and a little smoother on the back end, not so much down lane. So that's kind of what's in my bag right now. Venom Shocks, Rogue Blade. I have a Primal Rage LE, which is going to be a shinier, late into transition, like games like 6, 7, 8. To start with, I have Forza SS, which would be a stronger symmetrical ball, and it's good for the heavier oil. So that's kind of where mine is.
Is there a number, do you have to have, I need this many symmetrical balls in my arsenal to feel comfortable, or do I need this many pearls or whatever?
It depends on the bowler.
Okay.
And kind of what they like to see shape-wise. I tend to throw more symmetricals just because of what I like to see and my ball roll. For example, let's see. I'm trying to think. Like for me and myself and Maria, we tend to not like the same ones. But if we because just what we've learned, if she likes something, I might not like it. We just don't match up because our roles are nothing alike. She's a lot more end over end. I get around it a little more. she's a little firmer in ball speed. I'm a little softer. So we like to see different shapes. Another example, someone with higher ball speed like Liz Johnson or even Shannon Plahowski, they're going to throw the stronger balls. As we see Liz, she is actually throwing, I believe, a high road. So we're in the transition, the second transition.
That looked a little quick. Maybe just missed it at the bottom
Yeah.
touch.
But she's going to tend to throw the stronger equipment, stuff that's going to read a little sooner because she has so much ball speed. Shannon Plahowski is the same way. She's got a lot of ball speed compared to her rev rate, so she's going to throw the stronger equipment. She's going to use, both of them are going to use more surface, but they're so skilled they can also do some tricks to like kind of help with carry issues. But they're going to stay in that part of the lane where they're the most comfortable.
Talking to Summer Jasmine about Arsenal building. Thanks for checking in, Chris. Congratulations, by the way. Chris won a gift, a prize, part of our Bowl TV giveaways we've done the last 2 weeks. We'll have one more tomorrow. You must be listening during the round of 12. That's the way to learn about it. You have to be watching.
Oh yeah, I remember this from St. Pete. Yeah.
That's right.
I
We
was
did
there.
it there. I did it again last week.
What was it last week? Same thing? Screenshot of the...
Oh, last week was tweet and tell us just why you love the PWBA
Okay, cool.
to be eligible. Of course,
Awesome.
make sure you follow us. But just let us know. Kept it simple. I was a little tardy because we had some things going on last week and with some scores, and so we were.
And you had Phil Brylow with you last
we had
week?
Phil, so we were making sure we could get the scores updated and stuff.
Oh, yes. You got the scoring issue. Yeah.
So
That's when I walked in. They're like, oh, the score's not working. I'm like, what are you talking about? And
So-
then I pulled it up, and I'm like, oh, that's why.
So that's tomorrow, round of 12. Let me make sure I write that down. Wish I had it posted. Let's see. Here's what I need. But nonetheless, in regards to Arsenal building, but first let's check in. Did we go over the scores yet? We did that, right?
Oh, yes.
You sure?
I remember saying the cut went down.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure you went through it. Yeah, you did. You went through it. Because I believe it's Burgett, right? Yep, Burgett is the number after 14 games at plus 155. And Giselle's kind of going to make a run at it here.
Chris, to be honest with you, that every answer that was given, and we didn't choose it based on the answer itself. You try to eliminate this the subjectivity in that regard. Honestly, every answer was a fantastic answer because it means something different to everyone.
Yes.
In that regard. So we take the names and randomize them and boom, we've got our winners. But it's just a way to thank you in a sense for watching, and reading some of those answers also let me know that you guys are invested into what the players are doing as well, and so it's just a cool way to be able to reciprocate some of the love. Shot there for Jose. If you are, if you could give advice to maybe someone who talked about the league, Arsenal, or how you would do it, but just in general terms, the Arsenal building perspective of some things you would like to have in your, or some things you should potentially have in your bag. To cover all of the bases, if you will, what might those be? Plastic, for
Plastic
example.
or urethane.
urethane.
I know there's bowlers that sometimes they don't want to have plastic and they just use like to use urethane. Give them another option in the bag. I think that's more for tournament bowlers than league bowlers, to be honest, or in my opinion. Just definitely something smooth rolling, just something you can control, and and it's predictable. That's kind of most house shots. That's kind of what you want. And like I said, it just depends on the bowler. A couple guys I bowl with, they're very speed dominant, so they like to tend to stay in the stronger ASIMs. The oil soaker cover stocks is what I call them. It's perfect because they stay to the right and I just jump left of them. Because my league starts back up in, I think, a couple weeks.
That last shot from Clara was
really
flat out good.
Yes, it was really good.
Oh, wow. I know Clara had dealt with the injury bug early in the season as well. And dealing with her own adversity in that regard. And what the hell? That was a shot. That was Clara.
Yeah.
Right there.
I don't know if you want to flip it over to Giselle here. Having a pretty good game.
Absolutely, we are. There's
So is
Malak.
Jessica. Yeah, Jessica made it through the PTQ.
And there she is.
Oh, that's got to hurry. Oh. That looked a touch right from the other shot on that lane.
I was going to say, so I want to know, how were you able to quickly tell? I'm always curious of, are your eyes in a sense trained to just kind of look for when the ball is hooking, not hooking down lane? Is that just by experience, you think?
Experience? I know I have a hard time doing, like when I bowl, I don't catch the ball until it's later down the lane, but when I can sit here and watch somebody throw a shot, I can see the whole lane, so I can really see where the ball picks up. And then ball motion wise, to learn it, I watched a lot of videos, just watched a lot of the PBA, like that. This was before the PWBA relaunched. Watched a lot of tournaments, just watched a ton of bowling just to see the differences. Because I worked with a coach. I mean, Steve Leclerc, worked with him for 7 years now, ongoing, and he's like, he gave me all these tools, and he's like, just watch ball motion, just really watch it. And then one day it just clicked. Like, I could see it. And we bowled a travel league together, and they would let me bowl first. They would let me bowl lead off because it felt like I could make the best shots and be able to tell them, hey, I threw a good shot and the ball hooked early, and they can see it.
Right.
And then that's what helped me a lot, was just watching a lot of bowling. I bowled with, like I said, I bowl with a lot of guys, so I can sit down and watch the ball motion and see it. But it's totally different to watch front to back the whole lane than when you're throwing it yourself.
Right.
Because you're missing the first probably 20 feet. Because I catch mine at the arrows.
Miss Johnson just pulled the string on the second one in the 10th. And that's going to get her to the 240s. There's O'Keefe right side of your screen. And Shannon this game, looks like Shannon can get to 216. At the moment, well, Shannon's gonna need a big game to get into the top 12. Lizzie J. All right, nicely done. 247 for Liz. That's looked like we had a nice little chat reunion from perhaps two individuals who may not have seen each other in a while. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
There is Daria Pajok from Poland and Pluchowski, who is in second at the moment. She was your round one leader. Good shot. She can get to 216 this game as well. Malat 216. 227, Giselle Poss. 223, Josie Barnes. Sydney Brummett with a fill shot upcoming. Here is Clara.
Oh, it looked a little left off her hand. The classic Plahowski. She hated it off her hand, and it struck. 10 back.
If I could do that.
Right? Me too.
Man. We'll let Shannon finish it out here because she takes probably the least amount of time
She is
I've
the
ever
fastest,
seen
yes.
of any player in between shots.
I like crossing with her because quick. Oh boy. 159 for Clara.
Well, Clara had been really entrenched in third for a long time. That's the lowest game of the day for her. So going to lose some pins, she'll still be in decent shape. Actually, I would say good shape.
Good shape for the top 12. She's going to stay in the top top 5 for sure.
She is going to get passed by Liz Johnson, though. And I'm sure what Jordan Richard has done. So somewhere between 5th through 7th. Kelly Kulik had a chance to get to 237. And that would bring her to plus 227. A lot of sevens. And what I just talked about, and that would put her in that 6th through 10th. She's 10th now, so she'd still be in that range. A lot of folks in the chat room, kind of thinking about how cool it would be to have Kelly and Liz on the show. Haven't seen that since I believe the Players Championship last year, which came down to the 10th frame.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In that match.
I was gonna say they were on a show together. I guess
I should say the Tour Championship.
But they didn't bowl each other.
They did not bowl each other.
Yeah.
But they did. They bowled each other for the Players Championship title.
I'd like to see Kelly make it on a show. I know it's not been her best year, but she's definitely going to make a run at it. She's throwing the ball well this tournament.
You know, there are a lot of warriors, a lot of competitors out here on this tour. And Kelly is literally the definition.
And she's right outside for the Tour Championship.
And that's the other, it's not a looming note. It will be next week because it's the last regular season event,
and
but
there's
it's
more points.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
But it's on deck. Like the Tour Championship scenarios they're in the on deck circle. This was baseball.
Yes.
Next week they step into the dish or in the box.
Yes. They're at bat.
They're going to be at bat, and we mentioned it a little bit earlier. We kind of go through it again for those who may be unclear of what we're discussing right now. The Tour Championship, of course, takes 16 players. The way to get in, there's only two ways. One, you win a title.
Yes.
And that secures a spot for you, secures an invitation. And then two, the other way is you qualify based on how many points you have. The rest of the field is filled up through points. We have
Shayna, I believe, is Shayna Ung. Is the only one outside of the top 16.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 players who have won a title this year. At least one title. And so those 10 players, of course, are in. Shayna Ung being one of them, and also not in the top 16 on the points list at the moment, which means that you have to go to 15th.
Yes.
If you're looking at the points list, and 15th would be the cutoff because Shayna is underneath that proverbial line, if you will. And so because of that, names like, and just from 12th on, because 12th it starts really the run where no one has won a title except Shayna Ung. 12th is Missy Parkin.
Yes.
Then Verity Crawley, 13th. Then Maria Jose Rodriguez, 14th. Then Lindsay Boomershine. Again, Lindsay is the cutoff at this point.
And she's struggling this tournament, so.
Yeah. And then there's Shannon Pluhowski. And those two separated by 255 points. And so literally whoever finished ahead of each other,
Yes.
whichever one finished higher this week would be in the driver's seat, no pun intended, because we're going to Richmond. But so then there's Kelly Kulick, who's 17th.
Yep.
Clara is 18th. And Sydney still has a chance to make it as well as a rookie. She's 19th. Jen Higgins is 20th. Daria's 21st. Yurget is 22nd. Sandra Gongora's 23rd. So I mean, it's serious. It's serious business. There are obviously a lot of names that you would
They're
expect
right on the bubble.
to be in, and
Yep.
they're not. It's actually kind of a testament the way the season's been going.
Yeah, and then, like I said, the ones right outside right now, you've got Shannon Plahowski, Kelly, and Clara right outside. And guess what? They're in like the top 10.
Yep.
Yeah. And we got a scoring update over there. So.
Bam. Scoring update brought to you by Nationwide. Summer, would you like to do the honors?
Oh, I wouldn't mind at all.
Okay. Have at it.
All right. At plus 459, same leader as before. Rocio Restrepo. Shannon Plahowski, plus 427. Jordan Richard, huge game. 255 to get her to plus 378. Was she over this?
Wow.
She's plus 266 for 7 games. That's clutch after what we saw her do on 23 and 24. Throw the back 7 to shoot 2-teen. Clara Guerrero drops down to 4th. Liz Johnson, 247, bumps her up to 5th. Diana Zavialova, I try to getting better, is in 6th. Daria Pyoke, plus 254. Verity Crawley, round out the trio of Weber bowlers, plus 225. Kelly Kulick, we just see her. She's still on the live stream pairs at plus 216 in 9th. In 10th place is my teammate, good friend of mine, Maria Jose Rodriguez at plus 209. Jen Higgins hanging in there, plus 204. And then rounding off the top 12 is Birgit Perpler at plus 158. And Giselle Haas is just sitting outside at plus 157. So, and then Erin McCarthy plus 124 and Liz Culkin plus 123. And Sydney with probably, she needs a huge game and a little help at plus 109 in 16th place. So I think it's gonna be close. I mean, that gap is between 11th and 12th is what, 46 pins. Need a little help there. Birgit's gonna have to, well, depending on what Giselle does. And Giselle's just to the right of her, so we can keep an eye on that. And Erin, I believe she's on the end pair. Yeah, Erin's on 43 and 44, so.
Well, the cross and the score gods have blessed us here because we, as you mentioned, get a chance to see both players, who are 12th and 13th respectively, separated by 1 pin, are next to each other. So the best way to end the day in the race for the final spot, and we'll have it here on Bowl TV.
I like it.
Here is Poplar from Germany. And let's take a look at Birgit's season here. She's had a few top 10 finishes and one just outside. In fact, she finished 11th last week. 18th in Hartford, but 9th in Fountain Valley and 6th in Sonoma County. So really, you got a pretty decent start, I would say, obviously, to the season.
Yeah,
she did make match play at the Queens, but lost first couple matches. Tied for 28th in Harrisburg. And now, again, battling for not only the 12th spot, but at this point, you know,
That's extra points for
Yeah.
the road to Richmond.
Yeah, because one round is, wow, not going to do it.
That's off to the right. There was Giselle leaving the 2-7-10. And we see Birgit cover the 3-6-9-10. Keeps her clean through 4. 200 pace.
There's Josie Barnes. Good shot
Throwing
there.
it pretty firm. Keeping the angle in front of, just keeping her angles tight and in front of her.
For those who, so if someone's not familiar with that term or may think it means something different in regards to bowling, what is firm?
Firm.
mean?
I usually, when I watch a bowl with Josie or I've seen her bowl, she's pretty soft ball speed wise. I'm just keeping it firm. Ball speeds up, and well, that was a good try. And just making the ball get further down the lane before it starts making its move toward the pocket, or before it starts picking up from the friction.
Stephanie Johnson.
And I think of firm and just ball speed. Stephanie Johnson is your prime example there. And then when you hook the lane, you think of Daria.
Okay. Good examples. Is there anyone else, like any other categories that we may have someone in? For example, firm. We've got high rev or hook it. Is there someone with slow ball speed who gets it done? I don't think there's anyone really with slow ball speed. Now that I think about it.
That I could think of. I mean, slow hook it. I know I watched Diana do it at one stop. Oh, in Vegas, when she let it. She slow hooked it, and
she had the world.
Her look was phenomenal. Like, what she was able to do, and nobody else could do it. Because I crossed with her, and I have no idea how she did it. Because I said I was right of every one of my pairs. And I don't say that very often. and they were like, what do you mean? You both, I mean, I'm like, no, Diana was left of me. And they're like, are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. I was there. But she can slow hook it, or she learned how to slow hook it. Because I know she liked to keep her angles kind of in front of her and kind of be firm. Because her ball roll, it's just so heavy, it just picks up in the right spot. Great shot for Kelly.
It's just a classic style, classic shot for Kelly. She's I'm sure not because she wants it that way, but because of good old Father Time. Well, we can now put in that classic style category, or timeless style, if you will, simply because we've seen Kelly do this at a very high level, obviously for a very long time. That's probably going to be in the category of classic styles in the future. If obviously Daria is set to have a very long and successful career.
I agree.
So is Sydney Brumman.
She works on her game. I picked her up from the airport, and we were just, having conversation. We were just talking about how she made some changes during the break, and first tournament out, leads a PTQ.
Number 1 seed, yeah.
And gets the number 1 seed on the TV show.
Someone mentioned Leanne Holstenberg in regards to
slower ball speed.
Slower ball speed getting it done. I would agree. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. She's not on the roster for next week. I didn't see her name. It's not too late. She might show up. We don't know.
Kulik. So Poss has gone strike. A few splits.
Yep.
Strike in the 5th, and Poplar is clean. through 6. Here is Daria Pyatt.
That was a great shot.
Oof. High flush for Stephanie Johnson. And for Steph, I feel like she had a kind of a similar event happen in St. Pete where, although I think it's different this time, she just couldn't get comfortable in St. Pete. Had some footing issues and had set herself back and came out round 2 and gave it a run. This week it looks like she's done a lot of searching on the lanes and trying to figure out the best way to attack it. And the pins really just haven't cooperated most of the time.
Yeah, she's struggling. Oh, that's right. It's a great 9 count for Birgit. And then we'll see Giselle, see if she can put up a double.
Makes a ball change.
She did make a ball change. That was a good quality shot. Just a touch high. Honestly, even a 4-10, but kicks it out.
Looks like Shannon Pluhowski has gone, let's see, strike, spare, 5-bagger to start this final game. Jessica Malott has gone spare, 6-bagger. And Jess is up now. Make it 7. Really like Jess's her game. Very simple.
Yes.
Obviously some good tutelage
From McKendree.
from McKendree
With the
University.
O'Keeffes.
Her, or Sarah Willie, for example, you know, very prepared to be out here on tour.
And I tell you what, transitions, they're tough. You know, going from, I did not bowl in college, but even just, you know, coming from leagues and state tournaments, just little tournaments here and there. Coming out here, it's tough, you know, and I know the first tournament I ever bowled, I bowled the Queens. First, you know, tournament at this level, and I didn't have anyone behind me. I mean, I had my parents, but not an extra set of eyes, just, you know, for advice. So, I mean, come out here and give it a chance after college. Great for them. Happy for her. She got a check this week. She did it the true road tripping way in the RV.
Oh, yeah. Saw that. That makes sense now. I saw the RV maybe this morning or yesterday. I don't remember the day now, but I said, oh, whose RV is that? And I forgot.
The one
that,
out here?
Yeah.
I believe that's Tom Carter's,
Okay.
the owner of the pro shop here, because he was on the PBA 50 tour.
Yep.
And I seen a post where he had come home for a couple days before he heads back out. So I believe that's his, because she said, Jessica said they're at an RV park.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that's Tom Carter's, I believe, owner of the pro shop here at Columbus, Wayne Webb's Columbus Bowl. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct. Good shot for Poss. Boy, Giselle, let's see. Poplar.
Clean, 190.
Her max at this moment is 218. Speaking of Birgit, Giselle's max at the moment is
2-0. 2.
I feel like Giselle's going to need them all.
Yes.
I feel, to be safe based on even the pace of what Birgit has going.
And then Birgit right now is kind of pacing like she can shoot 2.8 or 228, but her pace wise is like 190, 198, just because she hasn't put up a double yet. I mean, but that could change right here as we watch Sydney. Sydney looked like she changed balls and then changed balls again.
Papa looking for her first double.
That's right. That is, you know, good 9. Good 9. Great shot for Clara.
Oh, Clara, 5 in a row. Great bounce back. Now Poss needs them all.
Oh, that was a great shot. I mean, she could potentially had a 4-bagger there.
Yeah, she threw some quality shots, and even before, especially with that 6th frame.
But that's going back to knowing your arsenal and then kind of you gotta take the risk
And
sometimes.
no fear, right?
Yeah,
no
you gotta
fear.
have no fear. Bull fearless, right?
That's right. That's part of it. Bierget's going to finish first. Over on 27 and 28.
It's gonna be close. She
what
can.
was one other person. Let's see. Liz Culkin was around the number again. Erin McCarthy. They needed some score this game as well. We won't know those scores because they don't look like they're close. They're not.
No.
All right, 10th frame, Poplar.
Great shot for Birgit.
Well, Jess gave it a nice run there. And she left the bucket with the 7. And she's going to shoot to or get to 260.
65. 65 with a strike.
Howski missed in the 9th. So she's still got 257 working. That could potentially pass Rocio, depending on what happens. Depending on what Jordan Richards doing too, by the way, because doesn't look like she's been missing much to here in round 2.
It's on tear.
All right, Poplar, can she double?
It's close.
That could be the one right there.
I get her to
To be in the 2 O's.
2 O's.
The good count.
She'll stay ahead of Giselle.
Speaking of Giselle,
Oh. Another quality shot.
I have to imagine that Giselle has been fighting some transition throughout. Either that or it could be a lot of things, but the middle stretch of this round, 168, 171, 167, ultimately will be the deciding factor, seems like
Yes.
today. She led the PTQ. One of 9 players to advance. Gave herself the best opportunity. What doesn't look like today we'll have any PTQers advance to the top 12. Hayok, final shot 10th, or excuse me, not final shot, second shot in the 10th frame, beg your pardon. All right, that's going to get her with good count into the 220s. Let's see Steph J finish out strong here. She struggled today.
I know she just wants to finish on a good note. Gets
230 will do it.
230s.
Here's a good question, Summer, that I didn't see, and so we'll try to fit that in here as you watch Giselle Poss. Well, GP gave it a great effort today. Steph J.
Great finish. 238 for Stephanie Johnson. Oh, it's not the outcome she wanted overall, but always good to end on a 230 game. Did you find the question?
I did find it.
Okay.
I have it. Oh, yes. Thank you. Daria did bowl the PTQ. How about that? She finished second. just crossed over. Giselle's got that look. We've all been there. You know that look. That's kind of what did I need to do? You know, where did it turn the other direction in a sense? Kelly just left a 2-8-10, and I don't think that's going to present a potential problem, but
I don't think
it
so.
should.
Because she's already in the 200s, so she's gonna go up score-wise, up a little bit, and then we know Birgit's gonna be. She shot 208, right? 20.
Yes.
So she only gets to plus 166 unless. Then we know Giselle didn't get there. We don't know what Erin and Liz are bowling because they're on the other side of the house. Unless I find out from somebody.
Brummett. Sid gets the 7 out. Josie Barnes. She too will finish on a high note. Josie is going to get to plus 76 for the week, but certainly won't be enough for the top 12. And Sydney will finish things out here. Of course, we'll have we'll keep the stream live for you, and I'm also going to make sure we get in a good question that I just saw in the chat for Summer. Shannon O'Keefe, unless she had a huge game at the end, she too will miss the top 12 this week, and that would just be only the second time this season she has done that. All right, 178 for Brummett. All right, so don't see
Is there anyone else still bowling?
don't see lots of bowling happening, so that could be.
I think everyone's done.
All right, so someone asked about
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes round 2 of the Nationwide PWBA Columbus Open. Athletes, please add up those score sheets, turn them into the tournament office down behind lanes 3 and 4. We'll get those scores verified, and we'll be out to announce who will advance to round 3 tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So just hang tight, we'll have our official cut number.
All right, from Richard Jones Jr. He asks, Summer, what's the weakest part of your game and how can you make it better at the moment?
Mine is playing the lane straighter and being a little more firmer. So I'm going to have to kind of tweak my timing a little bit. But that's definitely going to be in the works in the off season. And so, I mean, it's been definitely one of the weakest parts. It's actually funny because when I was younger, I actually threw it pretty hard.
Really?
Yes. Just threw it at the head pin. And then I was like, oh, I want to hook the ball, so I learned how to hook it, and now I'm like, I wish I could throw it pretty straight right now. Yeah. So, but definitely like part of the game. I mean, I can play toward 5, but with the firmer ball speed, not yet. So that's what we're going to be working on. But that's a great question.
I thought that was a very good question, and one that I feel like you would be able to obviously answer in a very good way. And how important is it to just kind of realize some of the things that from the not so strong parts? You talked about being as versatile as possible and making the necessary decisions and choices to be as good as you can be. How important is it? And I ask all the players, but just kind of be honest with yourself, basically. Say, hey, I need to work on this.
Oh, you have to do it every stop. I mean,
every stop.
Every. I mean,
You can like
You go-
evaluate every stop basically after it's over.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, you always write down stuff that you want to work on or stuff that you pick out. Hey, maybe 1 week you're spare shooting, you're just not on top of it. You just say, hey, next practice session, let's just shoot spares. Let's just work on this. And then next stop, you notice the girls that made the cut. Throw it firm. They don't do a lot like with their hand. They just kind of stay behind it and keep their hands soft. Nothing like get that a little extra on it. Maybe that's something I need to work on. Maybe that's a pattern I struggled on. Maybe I need to take a look at something. And like I said, when you bowl each tournament, there should be a lesson learned at each one. You have a bad experience, there's got to be a lesson. Then you work on it and say, hey, I need to make my weakest game, I need to make it a little better. And eventually, hopefully, maybe that'll become your best game. I know my coach did that. He bowled back in the day when you had to spin it. Like, they oiled it once and bowled throughout the day, so he learned how to spin it, so he's really good at that. Then he started bowling like the PBA stuff when they started doing like the cheetah patterns and stuff. So he had to learn how to play the gutter.
Right.
Now that's his best game. Like, that was not his best game. He said he's worked hours, days, weeks on it, like 6 weeks, and that's become his best game. To stay like to the right, and so I mean, you pick out what you need to work on and you try to make it your best. You don't want to have like a C game. You want everything to be an A game. That's why Elite Field, you get to see some of the versatility with some of the ladies out here.
I like that.
So.
A couple other questions. As you can see, this is Summer Jasmine. I'm Emil. Nice wave. Love it. Lance asked, and Richard has a follow-up. Lance asked, how many leagues do you bowl in? How often do you go practice?
How many leagues do I bowl? Okay, I bowled 2 last year. And then I practiced. One of the leagues was in the morning, so I would practice right after that.
Okay.
And for a couple hours. Or 3. It just depends on, like, I would take a break and then kind of set it up to where it was kind of like how ours is, where we bowl in the morning, break, and then bowl a little later. That way you can get the feel of, like, because it's a long day, the 16 games. I would practice 3 to 4 times a week, and then when we get closer, try to get to 5, like 5 days a week.
Right.
Just because it's muscle memory and everything, so. League this year, I'll probably bowl 1 for sure. I just go and have a good time.
Well, I think that's important too.
I bowl with 3 guys. They're more competitive than I am, but I'm like, you guys deal with all that, and I just show up and hopefully shoot 600.
I'm curious. Is this your league? The league, is it a full season? Like
It's
35
full season.
weeks
It's
per se?
32.
Okay.
So I love that. 36. The 36 ones kill me. They're just so long in leagues. I mean, they're fun, but they're kind of boring to me. Because we go for this one, every shot counts. League, it's 36, 32 weeks, 36 weeks, however long it is. It's 3 games a week.
Yeah, that extra 4 weeks so that's a month.
I know. It's an extra month, so it's perfect because we'll start end of August and we'll end middle of April after roll-offs, and I go straight into tour, so it's perfect.
Well, yeah, and it keeps you kind of. I mean, you're not completely away, obviously, from the game.
Right, exactly.
That's.
Like, we really don't have an off season because a lot of us bowl league, or most of us bowl league, but we're always working on something, for sure.
All right, one more follow-up from Richard Jones. If he wanted to practice playing 4th or 5th arrow, how would I do that if I don't have access to patterns that tend to play inside?
I would just go out there and do it, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you
really don't
need the
patterns. You just have to it's depending on whether or not you want to see the shape of it. But just, I mean, if I want to practice playing around the first arrow, I'll take urethane or plastic, and I might not strike, but I'll get the feel of it. So just take a ball get around 4th or 5th arrow, and just all you want to do is try to hit the same part at the arrows and at your break point, and get that consistent, and then you'll be fine. I know I do a little drill, so I'll start like 20 and 10. Strike there, 2 and 1. Strike there, 2 and 1, and just keep moving until I get to a point where I can't strike, and I have to make it strike. So that's when you learn different ball speeds, different hand positions. You gotta get around a little more, get a little softer ball speed. I mean, stuff like that. And that's a couple of drills that I would do.
That's a very good drill, actually.
Yes, it's a great drill. And then
Yeah.
once you go that way, go to the left, or once you move in, then go back right.
Right.
So perfect drill.
When you go back right, what are your moves if you do the
I
same
still
drill?
do a 2 and 1,
Okay.
or you can do 2 and 1s, or you can go parallel like 1 and 1, 2 and 2, because then you'll have to up your ball speed.
Right.
So get a couple drills there. Work on your
That's,
ball speed. Work on rotations.
Right.
Different things.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That was and it still is, the weakest part of my game. Not that I don't bowl that much anymore. My goal is to work on that for the 18-19 season, is to bowl not only more, but bowl something that's quote-unquote meaningful, like a tournament.
Okay.
Like, I'm at the point where I need to have something to train for,
Okay.
like a goal in mind. So let's say it's whatever tournament it's in.
Open championships.
Yeah.
That's a great.
Yes. Well, that would be a goal, because we do get the privilege to bowl that as employees. So, but it didn't go well this time because I didn't practice.
I haven't bowled in forever. I haven't bowled.
Yeah.
I think the last one I bowled was 2015
Okay.
in El Paso.
I mean, but you shot 300 there, so
I
you
know.
should bowl.
I know, because I get a little 15 seconds of fame.
You do. You do get announced, by the way, at the OC. So that's my plan. I want to put a tournament on the schedule.
Okay.
And say, okay, this is the tournament I'm bowling, and then I've got to pay, because paying would ensure that I now have to bowl.
Exactly.
And I have to train for it, and so that's my new goal for 18-19 season. But in regards to the 4th, 5th arrow, that's always been the weakest part of my game. I was always a straighter player and had trouble opening up, and then I got into serious trouble doing the. I thought you had to make it hook when you move left, but it's the exact opposite of what you really want to do.
Yeah, you just have to get it
Yeah.
to a spot, and you'll be fine.
I struggled with that for a very long time. I have a better understanding of it now.
Yeah.
But
I think we all do. As you
Right.
know, as we've gotten older, everything just clicks. That's what I was talking about earlier. Everything just clicked, and I'm like, man. When I was younger, I was like, I wasn't very smart at bowling. I think I just played the second arrow the whole time. So.
Yeah. I remember bowling 2010 in high school was just the where you had to play, and then
2010.
The older I got, I realized, okay,
There's other
can't
arrows.
do this everywhere.
There's other arrows and
Right.
dots, right?
Exactly.
That's what I pick on my guys I bowled league with. They're like, oh, because we used to bowl a second shift. I bowled with the same guys. We bowled an early league and a late league, and I'm like, oh, I'm on 36 or whatever. I'm like, oh, I'm still on 20, and I'm like, oh. And then they'll move 5 boards, and they're like, oh, this is way too deep for me, and I'm like, oh, I was there game 1. I don't know what you're talking about. So I pick on them all the time.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in today, and your great thank yous. Appreciate it. Vaughn and Son and Brian, Shell and Steve. Rich asked, do you play low ball?
I do play low ball. I think I might have had my lowest game the other day, which was a 40-something.
Nice.
Because my goal is between 20 and 60.
Of course, for those who wondering what low ball is, in many cases, for example, but let's say you're trying to take the 7 and the 10 off.
Take the 7 and 10 off
every time, and to
2.
get the lowest score possible.
See, Daria made a new friend. With,
oh yeah,
baby Drew.
Daria's holding baby.
Holding baby Drew.
Baby DJ. Looks good on her.
He's awake. Last time I saw him, he was taking a nap.
DJ's the man.
He is the man. I got to hang out with him this morning, and
What about accuracy? Just kind of tips on, hitting your target consistently.
Well, I'm not very good at that either. But I would just kind of keep your eye on your target and watch the ball roll over it and just repeat shots. I know a lot of them do like something with the PVC pipes. They kind of build something.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Build some kind of DIY, some homemade target.
Homemade targets. Yeah. I know a couple will let you. You have to get permission from the proprietor, or your owners.
At the bowling center. Right.
Yeah, at the bowling center. You can put a piece of tape down and hear it. If you can hear it tick, like hear it roll over that tape, then do that. I mean,
I would say. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but basically get permission first before you do that.
I would say that was we did a. Oh, hold on. Here's your number.
Who will advance to tomorrow's third round of qualifying. We're going to start with our tournament leader at plus 492, Rocio Restrepo. Right behind Rocio with the plus 472 is Shannon Plahowski. Qualifying third is Jordan Richard. And fourth, Clara Guerrero. Qualifying fifth, Liz Johnson. And sixth, Diana Zavialova. Qualifying seventh at plus 278 is Daria Payok. And eighth is Verity Crawley. Qualifying ninth, Maria Jose Rodriguez at plus 225. And 10th, we have Kelly Kulik at plus 217. Qualifying 11th at plus 198 is Jen Higgins. And our 12th and final qualifier at plus 166 is Birgit Perpler. And Birgit Perpler is our 12th and final qualifier at plus 166. And that concludes our round 2 of our Nationwide PWBA Columbus Open. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope to see you tomorrow for round 3 starting at 10 a.m. Following our top 12, we will have our PWBA Fan Fest from 2 to 4. And then our live CBS Sports Network finals right here live at 5 p.m. So everybody have a good night, be safe, and be good.
Well, there you have it. To Neil Milligan, Director of Operations. The number was 166. We saw
it here on
Bowl
TV.
Get to that number. Congratulations to all 12 players. Rocio Restrepo leading the way with plus 492. Plahowski, Shannon, who led round 1. She finished at plus 472 after 16 games. So, those two players got a very nice start.
Yes.
And, of course, trying to find their way onto the TV show.
Got a pretty good
for
lead,
tomorrow.
too. Yeah, pretty good lead. 80 pins between, so 20 pins between the top two, 80 pins between Jordan and Shannon Plahowski. And then after that, it kind of dips down there. A lot of work to do between, from the bottom half to make the show. But you know what? 6 games, that's a sprint.
Yep.
Got to get lined up quick. And, it's going to be, fourth time going down practice. Yeah. First round, second round. Fourth time being laid down. Going to be a little different. 2 people on a pair. Transition's going to be different. That's where the open mind comes into play. You got to have your first plan, your second plan, your third plan, your fourth plan, and hope you find that one ball matches up.
Got to be able to go to them when ready and when necessary. So, are you here tomorrow?
I will be here. I can stop in.
Okay. All right. Let's figure that out tomorrow. I know everyone appreciates you, so
awesome.
Please thank Summer for her great insight today. Want to thank all of our guests today. We've had Danielle Vandermeer earlier, round number 1. Also Travis Goodwin from Nationwide, this week's sponsor, of course, of the Columbus Open. Great questions. Appreciate everyone's insight and your question asking, Summer's insight, and the good transfer of knowledge that we've had here today. So, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. That's where we'll be, right here on Bowl TV. And then 6 games, we'll know our 5 finalists for the CBS Sports Network live TV finals, again on CBS Sports Network. We will see you all tomorrow. So for Summer Jasmine and Travis Goodwin and Danielle Vandermeer, my name is Emil Williams Jr. See you tomorrow. And yes, Dan, got my tea right here, my man. And I'm going to have some more tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your night. This has been a presentation of the Nationwide PWBA Columbus Open on Bowl TV.